beautiful signs, large signs that were taken the day we put them up. So we didn't have the line of sight coverage that I was expecting. And that really, I think, affected us. We would have had potentially top 2 if we had had those large signs in place. But they were all stolen. It was unbelievable. Every one of them that we worked on was stolen. No, I'm not going to show you the TV spot. Right now, it's my attorney said that we need to put a wrap on everything until we get the case sorted out, but we're putting together an entire group of filings, all of which point to coercion, misuse of foreign press, a variety of things, defamation of character possibly. You know, Gary Condit, remember Gary Condit in California, the Blue Dog Democrat, who faced a lot of opposition for his involvement with Chandra Levy?
Yes.
Remember that? Can I finish?
Oh, yes.
He actually sued Vanity Fair for allegedly claiming he had something to do with the death of Chandra Levy, and he collected big time. I think an estimated $7 million. That's what they actually said, $7 million. Not a sore loser. No, you got a potential liability on your hands, all of you at the Democratic Party and beyond. There was a concerted effort to steal my signs, sabotage me, and prevent us from actually getting a fair election. Civil rights have been violated here, big time. So yeah, we're going to be getting as many people into the loop as we can. I've got to talk to some people. Legal parameters have been pushed to the limit, so we're going to see how far over the edge they are. All right, so tonight is Wasteful Wednesday. We're going to talk about cutting waste in government, and what a topic, considering these people, the Democrats and Republicans, have actually nobody's killing themselves. Thank you. They've actually drained our budget. The Democrats and Republicans have.
The Democrats
huge.
and Republicans.
Mostly the Democrats in our state, but even this guy I was running against, Dave Hayes, spent an extra $42 million unnecessarily on a ferry that doesn't even work right. It blows away in the wind. A ferry that transports people. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, definitely see if they're trying to sell them on eBay. Because I've got a whole bunch of them we picked up today. We drove about 100 miles, Sarah and I did this morning, from 9 a.m. to about 2. Came back home and rested up for the show. Played a gaming show. You had a lot of fun in the gaming show.
Yeah, I got to the next level.
Oh, you did? Wow, awesome. So she figured out how to do this. Very smart. It's all about hiding and taking people out without alerting the guards. We played Hitman today. It was very good. Every day we have a gaming show starting at 4 p.m. And if you want to follow that gaming show, we'll send you a link if you follow us at Twitter, @ThirdParty. All right, so Ebola, big time, spread. It's almost reached 1,000 dead, confirmed Ebola patients recently. This is really troubling, and the World Health Organization has put this on like high alert, but other agencies are saying it's out of control. What is this president doing? He's bringing Ebola victims into the country. He's testing on these victims with unknown vaccines that have never actually worked on human beings. They're not even surely truly effective against Ebola in animals. I would have clamped the border down and prevented anyone shipped or anyone being sent from any part of Africa right now. Anyone with Africa on their original transport passport would be sent back. Put them on. We'll give them a free ticket back. We don't want them in our country. Why you turn off guest chat? I don't turn it off. It's still on. It has yet. Our government made it escape. Our government brought 2 patients, possibly more, into the country for study at the headquarters of the CDC. Ricky Roma, yes, you have your right to say it's racist for a black man to do a white-faced video. I agree, but you know something? They have their freedom of speech too, just like you have the right to call them a racist. But I agree with you. I don't love Republicans. I don't blame Democrats for everything. Not at all, Guest 813. In fact, I never, ever wanted to support a Republican until the most recent race. I wanted to make sure Patty Murray didn't get elected, so I voted for the Republican at the time. That was the only time as an independent I've ever voted Republican, and I did it reluctantly because we've got this soccer mom from hell running our state into the ground. Well, you can say anything sounds racist. That's the point. You have free speech. But you Democrats don't understand that. And we're going to school you on what free speech is using the blackface as a central point of discussion over the next year and a half. I constructed the blackface personally because I believe it's the only way I can penetrate the layers of controlled media that we now call America mass media. We found that not only were our hits being dropped from 30,000 a week on YouTube around 2010 down to about 30 a week, but we also noticed that we couldn't get anyone to respond to our press releases anywhere in the country on any major news station. I had a few conversations with people all over the blogosphere and radio shows, but beyond that, I couldn't get any representation at all. And then recently, they tried to stab me in the back, figuratively speaking, with this foreign press at the Whitby News Times luring me into an interview saying they just wanted to do an interview about a third-party candidate claiming they prefer Democrats. So I went in there, and the interview went on about 35 minutes, and it was good, and it even felt great. And then she says, oh, by the way, I got an email about this blackface video. You want to talk about it? I said, sure. I made it back in 2008, and we pulled it because we didn't want to offend anybody. We noticed a lot of bad comments, but then somebody put us back into it at 2010. We put it back out there. She got the whole story wrong. She ran with a story that we just played this for the first time on our show. It's like she wasn't even listening to me. Plus, she didn't even follow up on any of the issues that I talked about for 45 minutes in the article. And they used the article as a slam against me in this campaign, which in my opinion broaches defamation of character. And it's just disgusting. Let's talk about you. How is everybody here? I am pissed off about the election results, absolutely. They cheated. They stole all our large signs and most of our small signs. I've got a car full of about 50 signs right now out of over 150 that we printed up. I'm going red? Really? How's that happening? It is defamation of character. Believe me, Troll Dog, we've got a whole thing we're putting together. Right now we're collecting all the evidence. If you guys have any evidence of anybody trash-talking me from any one of those locations, the Whitby News Times, or I guess there's a couple of newspapers connected. We just got a link today from the author of that article that actually wrote another article attacking me again, and she's not doing it to just one person. She did it to another Democrat in our area who was running as a write-in candidate against the sheriff. The sheriff who's running for re-election was a Republican. The Democrat, she just called all out. I mean, so there's more than one case now. There's a couple cases documented of her attacking candidates using Canadian press. It's unbelievable. So we may have to get the Justice Department in on this. It's unbelievable. Well, it's not. The recount is. It's so far off. It's almost unnecessary to put the state funding through that. I object to the fact that elections cost $17 million in this state. I object to the fact that I did much better, actually, in areas where people could read my pamphlet in Snohomish County, and I did really poorly, relatively speaking, in areas where they couldn't have access to my face or what I believed in, my 200 words. Now, I put $420.06 into this election, along with a little bit of other funding, bringing my funding up to a certain amount, matching and exceeding what Reverend B put in. And we had enough to pull this off, 1,200 approximately. We're still totaling it up. The cost to actually get nearly 4,000 votes. So that's literally like 33 or 34 cents a vote. We did really well. And this was a really good test to see where these people are coming from. They don't believe in freedom of speech. They don't believe in privacy. They don't believe in individuality. They believe in conformity, collectivism, a global world order. They believe in all the things that Americans just don't want to have. They believe in gun control in the Democratic Party. They want to take away our rights, our guns, you name it. So we have to stand up against these people, and I ask all of you to start talking about a third party with your friends and family. We will instigate a small economic sanction in 2017 if this human rights abuse continues. We can't continue funding Israel at the level we're currently funding them at, $3.5 billion a year. 5312, you don't understand. We have been locked out of the media for 6 years. We had to do something, and I think the blackface video is giving me exactly what I needed. And now we're going to bring out another blackface. I'm going to bring out another blackface video. I'll be the only one on camera for 3 hours come October 31st. So that's my next move. We're going to expand the concept, and I've got a whole lot of other ideas in the bag. The idea is to use our free speech before these commies try to take it away from us. They're using thug-style politics to dominate elections. You people would be pissed off if you tried to do this. So don't feel for a second that I'm out of control. This This has been ridiculous. I've never seen such mindless thuggery. It's bizarre. And all because I want to speak out about my nation, to protect our nation, and we never get any mainstream media attention. The national debt reaching 18 trillion. What would you fix in our economy? 8438, thank you. We will be working toward an infrastructure bank that will not be connected to big banks, no ties whatsoever with big corporate banks, and will offer a basic solution to the debt crisis. We'll begin looking at it as a real debt versus imaginary debt. And most of the debt that you're looking at, 18 trillion, has been built off a process called hypothecation, which is based on the idea that they somehow own our property. Well, the fact is, the United States of America is owned by you, and the American people can actually seize a lot of control, and we can begin erasing that debt. Okay, if the Ebola infections continue to grow by 4%, we have 382 days until everyone is affected. Check this out. This just came in. Thank you, Meester. The exponential calculator is 382 days left before it goes ballistic. Thanks for the link. I'm concerned about Ebola. I would immediately, as president, put a clamp on all shipments, human beings coming into the country from Africa. I would stop it right now. We will get in the public eye, whether you like it or not. I don't believe compromising professionalism occurred here. A professional does whatever it takes to save his nation. I basically prophesized the downfall of our economy in those videos that I made in 2008. I said things that came true. And I believe that in and of itself is a huge, courageous, professional move by an American. You folks who believe Barack Obama are the problem now. You've become the obstacle to all of us trying to get through this hellhole he's put us in. You have no idea what you've created. You've created a monster by believing that Obama can do no wrong. You've prevented our free press from working properly. You've enabled the military-industrial complex and the corporate Wall Street bankers that you claimed Obama was going to stop. He's enabled. I understand, Ricky. Thank you. Guest 849, you are banned. Yeah. You have one last chance to not be banned here. This is very uncomfortable. It is. Tell me about it. I'm enraged, folks. I had no idea these Democrats would pull such low-handed politics. I've never seen such thuggery in my life. We're dealing with a bunch of goose-stepping commie fascists here. I don't even know what they are. But they don't believe in free speech. All right, I'll try not to ban anybody. You're right, Guest 44. Owned by a small handful of private bankers, land of the free is a joke. Thank you. And Obama was bought off. So a lot of you people who have to step back and say, well, he had only 6 years. Give him another 50. Maybe he might have some sort of a brain thought or something. We can't unban you, Topper Dan. You violated every level of what we consider appropriate behavior in our room. I'm blaming the Republicans for a lot of things. I blame George Bush. As a former Democrat of 30 years, I had a lot of misgivings about the Bush administration. But then Barack Obama came along and tripled his spending over what Bush spent. He put us in this $18 trillion debt. You know that Obama has overspent by $6.66 trillion since he became president? It's crazy. All right, so how are you? Let's talk about
The
local
deficit
stuff.
has gotten that.
Yeah, 18 trillion. You know, that's the kind of thing that will get you banned.
Yeah.
I don't even know who Bailey J is.
A question came in asking about, do you know how much your competitors spent?
I have no idea. I know that Dave Hayes had about 47,000. No, she's not getting tired. We just drove all over town, over 100 miles, Guest 111, to pick up signs that had been beaten up and tattered. And I'm in the process of pulling them all together, and I'm going to make a large mural out of them and sell it online, a foldable mural, or something like that. Anyway, we had over 50 signs destroyed and sabotaged in this campaign. We had to keep putting the signs up throughout the whole thing, and we had our 5 large signs were taken away almost as fast as we put them up. What they did was cheated in this election. Exactly, Vorpalbite. They cheated. Well, we're not in the top 2, guest 305, so I guess I have to move on to the 2016 election for president. But this is really a good test to see where the corruption really is in the Democratic Party and how they operate. Now, working through the foreign press like they did, basically trying to defame me, in my opinion, I believe is prosecutable, and I believe we may have a lawsuit here. But I have to talk to some attorneys and discuss this at great length and see where we're at. But what they're trying to do is destroy me in an area of my chosen field, which would be politics. It's interesting because that's exactly what the people at UCLA, the Marxist professors at UCLA did to me. Exact same thing. They try to destroy me and prevent me from pursuing politics. Anyway, they did cheat. No, they did cheat. It's called Sabotaging Signs 2601. What about that do you not understand? You can't take 5 large signs down and expect a person to have the kind of line-of-sight presence needed to win an election. I'd love to show you those signs right now. Absolutely. You could get outraged with me. But I really don't want to go into details on how I ran my campaign. That's irrelevant. You know, I don't want to engage the law on this. I believe that they're already overbooked and stressed and probably can't even meet their budget right now. Every municipal area in the country is facing a fiscal crisis. I'll be glad to show you you want me to bring my signs in for you? Okay, I'll bring in my small signs. I've got over 50 of them. Want me to put them on the show for you to look at?
Sure, why not?
All right. And they're all destroyed and basically ruined, and they've been ruined for some time. Of course, we always turn in our campaign finance reports every single quarter. We never miss a beat. And you can check them out at fec.gov/David John Sponheim. I guess that they have to go in there to fec.gov and then go to David John Sponheim.
Right, as a candidate.
I was never late. I've never been late for anything. Well, the environment is front and center, 583, but not everybody cares about the environment as much as I do. Many people are concerned about an Ebola outbreak right now where Barack Obama can't seem to care one iota. I mean, the environment is a secondary issue to an Ebola outbreak, don't you think? I care about the environment. I care about all these things. Did you hear any of those issues brought up in the news articles? How do I show a destroyed sign when it's been taken away and thrown in the garbage? You tell me. No, I got more like 4,000 votes. You're wrong. They're still counting the votes. You know that there was a big, huge problem with the auditor in our local county? They weren't properly picking up the boxes. All the votes that were being stuffed in the ballot boxes weren't even being picked up in a timely manner. A lot of people are upset right now and they're making complaints. It wasn't just my election. I have the signs. They're in the other room. Yeah.
Some of them that weren't taken and destroyed.
I can only show you the 50 of the 150 we made up.
And we can't show you the ones that we spent hours on.
Yeah.
Because all of those were taken.
And we put them out there so
Every single
fast,
one.
every one was taken. Everyone was taken immediately as soon as we put the big signs out. They cheated, folks. Face it. Yeah, well, I call it statistically, the numbers are still coming in, Meow TV. You're going to have to refresh that page. Yeah. 3601 rounds up to 4,000 in my math. As soon as those numbers come in, they'll be rounded up to 4,000. Exactly, so long as I count the votes, Warplebite. Boss Tweed, good point. Oh, I will show you the ruined ones. Yeah, I have them out in the car. I've got to go get them. It's going to take a long time. But why don't we move on? Because I really don't want to talk about the case because of the litigation that might proceed from here on. I don't want to taint the litigation by talking about it in our show. I'm not going to show the commercial either because that only gives my haters fuel to continue hating me. All right. Okay, I'll show you a few signs. I'll go get it. I'm just going to take a break. You can talk to Sarah. Sarah, are we over in Hangout? Can I talk to people over there?
We're at YouTube Live, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I don't know if I'm doing a Hangout per se. I mean, it's on Google Hangout, but I'm still figuring out the Hangouts on Air thing.
Okay. I'm going to raise this a little bit. We're trying to get our stuff uploaded if we can. Great.
There we go.
Yeah, and I'm going to bring this one down a little bit. Our high definition camera. Okay, good. John is short for Jonathan. I admitted that
you want me to go get this one?
No, I'm going to get them. I admit only that the blackface video was designed to be a guerrilla media tactic. That's what I admitted. It was not designed to be construed as racism. I even pulled it in deference to people saying they were offended. But they slammed me. They didn't give me a chance. They don't want anyone to have rights in this country, and they certainly don't want anyone to talk. Every Democratic meeting I've been to, they've told me to shut up. Right. $1 billion per day. Thank you. Guest 843. And Obama has spent more than Bush, at least 2-to-1. AIPAC is not something I would ever take funding from, Imbroglio. The American Israeli Political Action Committee has its fingers all over the place. I mean, why did Obama give Israel $225 million yesterday in order to buy a missile defense system? Because the contractor, who basically pulls the strings of Obama as he moves, as the puppet moves, told him to say so. Go ahead and okay. Well, let's be clear. We're going to go ahead and give Israel $225 million, pay it to a contractor to build a better missile defense system, so that they can continue to kill innocent people in Gaza. I mean, he didn't say that, but he might as well have. I'm not a racist. And you know something? The fact that the Democrats want to call people a racist or a truther or a birther shows you that these people, all they can do is name call. They've fallen into the gap of simply being mindless about the issues, never ever questioning Obama for fear that they would somehow lose their power position, and then giving in all over the place to Obama when he takes away our freedom, signs the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, $692 billion, which we didn't have, which has led to a greater defense crisis, budget-wise, for our nation. We are looking at cutbacks. Right now, Gerald Ford, the USS Gerald Ford, has cost $2 billion over budget. And even John McCain did a piece about that a couple days ago, how they haven't even, they're receiving a $500,000 check that was signed, excuse me, a $500 million check that was signed, and they still have a $2 billion debt outstanding that they can't even, it's an overcost building the Gerald Ford. David, you were trying the king of name calling, and it's really no, Obama-tard Democrat, Republican, or a Nazi. Yeah, I like name calling. Ever since they started calling me a birther, I've enjoyed name calling. I will be honest. It gives me a sense of relief to call you people a name because you're the reason why we've got a problem now. Yes, there are more problems than Obama. Yes, boy, we've got a lot of corrupt people in Washington. But that's exactly why we want to create a third party, so we can bypass the corruption of Washington, and you people will not get your head out of your ass to get this third party off the ground. You should be ashamed of yourself for hating on a third party. Now, all of you who are supporting us, you don't have your head up your ass. You're fighting. You're in there striving for a third party. I know you are. But some of you people who want to use dirty tactics like sabotage my signs, take down my 5 biggest signs, which basically pulled about, I'd say, 10% of the votes down a peg. Anyone in advertising would tell you line of sight, large signs are essential to winning a race. We had them. They were stolen. What's the story here? These people, these thugs, these Democrats, these commie liberals are literally sabotaging campaigns to win. Do you think that that's a fair tactic? Do you think that that's right in America? Seriously. You people ought to wake up, and I don't mean the intelligent ones here. I'm talking about the Democrats, Obama-tards, and Republicans that are still clinging to this ancient, archaic system where big money rules our nation. You've got to do something to change it if you want our country to respond to the American people. God, I can't believe this lunacy. These people are lunatics.
Good evening. And, you know, David's going to go get the signs, and then he'll show you some of the signs.
I'll bring them all in. I'll be right there.
However, like he said, a few of the ones that we worked pretty hard on, all of those were taken. And it's I say that I commend David for running a race, and he's definitely passionate, and I'm glad that he got in top 3. Oh, there was a question that came in about Bo Bergdahl. Without mentioning the name of the current administration, I can say he has, 2 years left to serve in our military, something of that nature. He left where he was. I hope he doesn't. I hope he just serves out his time in the military, and that would be it. I'm perfectly great. No, that's not happening. 4131. Even though it will be it'll definitely be. We'll do something with the signs. Okay. You want me to move the banner? The banner's perfectly fine. If you want to see anything else, you could go to. Here, I'll put it right here. Is that better? You can go to youtube.com/America's Third Party. No, we have submitted all of the information. I will contact the Public Disclosure Commission. No, I will not be running for any office other than, I will not be running for any local office. I think it's great that David ran, but I will not be running. I did an attempt at public office, and that was back in 2008, and I think that's enough for me. And I got 5% of the vote, and when David ran, he got over 15% of the vote, so I think that's very good. Yes, much can't be said without conjecture. You're right. Exactly. As long as he wants to. 30585. No, that's okay. Thank you.
Here you go. Let's start with this one.
Here you go. Here's one of the signs.
We'll go through these one by one.
There you go. That's a best sign.
Okay, Sarah, we're gonna.
Yeah. That's good.
Here we go. Here's another big one. These were ripped down and torn apart and put back up. There's over six staple marks times 2 on each one. They had to be torn down. They were torn down by these people, and I had to put them back up. There's like multiple staples all through here. Okay. Here's about 15 more signs of the smaller variety. Some of them we were able to actually just poster on plain wood when we saw them.
The bridge is a famous bridge in our local district.
Here's the newest looking one. I had to put this up recently. These had to go up fairly recently. There's about 15 signs right here. These had to go up recently. These are all signs. These are the signs that were everywhere, that were taken down and knocked over. They were all on stakes.
Thanks for bringing them all in.
Oh, I'm not done. That's just the beginning. That's about 25 right there.
Yeah. Wow, that's a lot. Oh, that's good, Jet. No, it's a bridge to our island where we live. That's it. No. Bridge to where we live. Good existence out here. It's not these signs, it's other signs. Yeah, it's a lot
Here's
of
another
work.
10 that have stakes on them. Or actually, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, there are about 8 or 9 here that have stakes on them, right here. See these? These
Yeah.
are all coming back. Okay. I have to take all the stakes off of these. I'm going to put them in the other room, but I'm still coming. Hang on. That's about 40 right there. 40 signs remaining out of the 150 that I did.
You can't. Yes, because the ones that you see are the ones that were replaced from the ones that were destroyed. You always voted for the guy who goes around. Oh. You wish you voted for the guy? Yeah.
Then we had a bunch of these right here that we had to come in after the fact because we had to think quickly on our feet, and we came up with these signs. They have little gold stars on them, and we got these things out there for people to look at every place we could. We put stakes them all around. Then they knocked off the stakes, so we had to do everything we could to put them up.
Yep.
So I would go to these extremes and come up with. I would go into Home Depot and pick up stakes like this, thin ones, just to compensate for the fact they were stealing my stakes. We had probably 30 or 40 stakes taken on top of 50 signs or so. So it just went on and on and on. Let me get the rest of the wood.
Okay. Well, it's a lot of work. It's a whole lot of work that David did. Welcome, everyone. What are you referring to, Troll Dog Legends? Oh. After the 2 weeks, well, there's other people that are going to leave their signs up because they're in top 2, so they're going into the November election. No, I did not have a t-shirt available. I know, well, it's David's show, and he'll unban you if he wishes. Well, you guys, there are t-shirts available. If you go to americasthirdparty.com/store, then you can get t-shirts.
So I'm researching the legality right now of foreign press influencing American elections. That's my first order of business. We have to look into the case law on foreign press influencing U.S. elections here in the United States, because they may be in total violation. The way they moved and they didn't do it just to me. They did it to the guy running as a write-in candidate against the sheriff. I'm not chasing my tail around, Rodney. I had to get those out of the car. Yeah, I just try to fit it into our show.
Thanks for taking that.
It is. No problem. 536 says, taking down signs is an old campaign trick. Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Oh, really? I have until August 7th to submit the information along with a statement of understanding and a $100 fine.
I did mail it in.
We mailed it in. Well, thank you for coming and telling us that. Yeah, we had it all mailed in. Here, why don't you work on that right now, okay? Well, verify it. Go into the account. It's America's Third Party. And this is the password. Okay? Thank you. Yeah, well, she has to check it in. You know, if there's a problem, of course we're going to, comply with everything law that's out there, but we've been completely upfront about public disclosure in this particular campaign. I did all of my public disclosure up front initially. Yes, and we even sent in a signature card, which they required. I am calm, thank you. I'm doing great. No, I just wanted to show you guys how much work we put into this and how these people have sabotaged our signs. No, I was a Democrat for 30 years, yes, but I prefer Democrats today. I prefer Democrats today over Republicans. That's exactly why I wrote prefer Democrats. Yeah, go ahead. Hey, there's Big Steve on, everybody. Yeah, go ahead, buddy. How you doing? Rodney, how's it going?
Hey, Discount, how are you, man?
Hey, we're doing okay. I just, they're throwing stuff at me, and we've been on top of this completely, and we're working on our quarterlies right now to submit to them. So I don't know what the $100 fine is all about. That's kind of shocking to me.
I missed it, man. What are you late on balance paperwork?
Supposedly they're claiming I am, yeah. No, I don't like either one of them. I told you these people are corrupt. They sabotaged our campaign. What about that 526 do you not understand? Great. Sarah's starting up a computer. It's called a...
Right, got it.
Yeah, we run a backup battery system. Remember when backup batteries were the thing? People used to have backup battery systems before we all realized we could turn our computer off and reset it by hitting the button. No, no one's leaving anybody 583, and I think that's a ridiculous thing to say to our show. Yeah. You're not showing any respect for what we're doing here. I'm not a senator.
Some respect, people.
Yeah, so what's your concern about this Ebola virus? And we're letting Africans, Nigerians come into our country. What's going on with that?
Don't get me started, Dave. I mean, I could go off on some tangent, get us both in trouble.
What do you mean? I mean, we could eliminate all shipments of human beings into our country from Africa. What's the problem?
Shut it all down, period.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We got a potential catastrophe on our hands.
Hey, Discount.
Okay, your electric has been cut off too? Yeah, go ahead.
Were you contacted by the local media regarding yesterday's?
No. No one ever contacted me. They said they were going to call me from the Skagit Herald, but they didn't. Thank you, 305.
What is your official, closing remarks regarding the election? I mean, are you willing to let sleeping dogs lie? I mean, I understand there's some litigation pending.
At this point, no. At this point, there's no litigation pending on my end. I'm concerned that these people have violated all of my civil rights. Have tried to defame me. That's my concern, and they're using foreign press to do it. And I'm not sure what the precedent is. I'm still looking into the legality of the foreign press being used to influence elections. It's kind of strange. This local newspaper is owned by a Canadian firm. Well, basically, economic sanctions against Africa is not a solution. Africa doesn't have any money, Meow TV. Why would we impose economic sanctions on a country that can't even pay back any of their notes? Weren't you ever around when the U2 concerts were playing? I mean, hello? What's this guy's problem? Ebola is a contagious, very contagious incubating disease that takes 21 days to incubate. And it definitely could be in the people that we're bringing home right now from the Peace Corps. Over 342 people have been brought home. Did you know that, Rodney? It's unreal. No concessions
Is
here.
reporting that bigger discount?
Well, it's just these Peace Corps people could be contagious and they could be incubated right now. That's my point. Nothing stopped my presidential run in 2012. We still ran a good, solid race. We just haven't had any exposure in the media. What about that do you not understand? I'm sorry these people make bad words and names. We're getting people saying things. It's hearsay right now, but we copy all of these statements that you say our people are saying. A competitor says a bad name, that's something to copy, sure. So, Rodney, what is your concern right now about our country? It seems like we're slipping out of control, don't you think?
I think we've gone way past that discount. I think that we're in dire straits. I don't even know if it's reversible at this point.
I know. I feel the same way you do.
So, discount, how do you pick yourself up off the mat, dust yourself off, and prepare for a incredible run in 2016? I mean,
this is no problem.
all this heat,
yeah.
spin it into something positive, brother.
I am. I'm spinning it into a real test to show the real nature of the Democratic Party. I've never seen anything quite like it, to tell you the truth, Rodney. They are using the most dirty-handed tactics I've ever seen in my lifetime, and they seem to be deploying it at a time when Barack Obama is failing in every way. Almost in every area of government, Barack Obama has come up way short, if not at all. So yeah, I'm ready for 2016, and this is why I ran in the local election, to test the waters, so to speak. There's nothing diluted about it. I'm very positive. We've done this 2 times already. We've done this 2 times already. We're going to run a write-in candidacy if we need to. But I'd love to help you get me on the ballot in your state across the nation. We've got a way to do that if you go to America's Third Party and click on your state. You'll see all the laws required to get me on the ballot. But this is a huge turning point in American history, really, because it shows me that they are so frightened of us, Rodney, of America's Third Party, that they're willing to use underhanded sabotage tactics against my campaign. Now, as Sarah is my witness, we put up 5 large signs, and they were down within a day. They were gone. They were stolen. And we don't understand why they would resort to such low-handed tactics to attempt to derail our campaign, and all we're trying to do is help raise the bar of awareness about wasted spending at Washington State's legislation. And the legislature has actually gone over budget $90 billion. California is worse. So this is a huge problem. I do believe I can win in 2016 because I can galvanize the American people behind issues, not fanciful thoughts about change and Orwellian ideas. It's bizarre. We need to actually get the details.
Let's get our eye back on the ball here.
Yeah, go ahead.
You plan to redeploy blackface sometime in October of 2014, correct?
Yes, October 31st will be the 3-hour aired video, which you guys will be able to copy, hack up, make your own blackface videos if you want, because we anticipate a tremendous amount of suppression of free speech, and we anticipate YouTube trying to pull this. Whatever I do should not be pulled. They never have the right to pull it in the first place. So if we will deploy the blackface, and I'm going to let you guys run editing shows all over the place, and you can do whatever you want with that film footage. I'll be doing my own edited footage, which I'm going to come out with my own version, and we hope that the whole thing could be viral. That, you know, a matter of time before everyone just pushes their blackface version of my edited video. That's exactly what I think this country needs to wake this nation up. Absolutely.
My question,
sure.
If you can take a breath there,
I've got fine.
Do you think you can afford, to not take advantage of your momentum right now by deploying blackface immediately? I mean, do you think that you can maintain this momentum, keep riding this wave until the end of October? I mean,
actually, good question. Good question. Yeah.
Blackface immediately, just as as a good faith measure, and just to show people you're not fucking around.
Believe me, I've got that hidden video that I had to pull that I may just release soon, initially, and that means the video that you guys don't have a copy of will be deployed, and then the video, the new Blackface 2 version, will be coming out October 31st, but I am going to do a preview of it, like a 30-second spot for all of you to see what's coming to promote our big October 31st Halloween special. It's only going to be me. Sarah's not involved in any of this. So it's going to be totally all about me and my freedom of speech, which I think is a central part of American American life. If we don't have freedom of speech, what do we have? Our nation is at the point where we can't even question this president because he's black.
Amen, brother.
Yeah, and he's got this shield of blackness that even Eric Holder is using. I used that last night. You like that? It's defending them against questions about Fast and Furious, Benghazi, Abbottabad, the death of 31 Navy SEALs in Afghanistan, which has never been investigated. I mean, a lot of things need to be talked about, and we haven't even talked about any of that. It's crazy. We're going to be doing something like that, Guest 413. Yeah. But believe me, doing blackface is not a racist act. It's actually my right to impersonate the president. And a lot of you Democrats and Obama-tards who just don't understand what this country was predicated on need to realize that if we don't use this muscle we have of freedom of speech, you won't be allowed to talk either. And a lot of you commies are going to wonder, oh, you're stifling my freedom of speech. That's right, a lot of you communists are going to wonder how come you can't talk either. So you may start realizing that our nation is being taken over by moneyed interests who are using these tactics, the socialist plan of Saul Alinsky, to turn our nation into a collectivist nation where we worship the UN and act like they're the global authority who's going to resolve everything. That's crazy. There's no evidence that any one group could ever lead the world. In fact, quite the opposite. The nation-state model has succeeded well over 1,000 years and will continue to succeed. Thank you, 884-885. I don't impersonate Obama in the way that I want to. I have to put blackface on in order to impersonate him appropriately. Don't you agree, Rodney?
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank
really
you.
Trying to send a message and hit a home run. I mean,
You'd think I'm some sort of an albino African-American if I went out there in whiteface. Oh, that guy's like an albino African-American. It's pretty messed up. But, you know, seriously, I've been accused of being an albino African-American before. I mean, people in college actually said, are you an albino African-American? I'm just saying. My defense is not laughable. You are going to learn what freedom of speech is, 2601, if I have to extract it from your, you-know-what, your orifice, your mouth, or whichever orifice you speak out of. David, considering your passive upbringing, do you think you'll be an effective commander-in-chief as a parent? Thanks, man. Hey, take care. I'll talk to you a little later.
Hey, give a shout out to Sarah for me, wouldn't you?
I will. She's busy working on this alleged non-compliance issue with the Disclosure Commission. All right, here we go. Thanks. Talk to you. Call me anytime, Rod. Take care. All right, this is it's very interesting. Somebody asked me, David, do you think your nonviolent upbringing, your passive upbringing, will affect your leader as commander-in-chief during a wartime situation? Thank you. I'm Snow White, yeah. How will you improve the U.S. Army? Well, number one, we're not going to get rid of it, Bob Boltry. Obama wants to downsize it by 500 million people. Excuse me, 500,000 people. We don't have 500. He wants to take away 500,000 U.S. personnel from our military by, I guess, is tentatively 2022, or was his target date? I just think that's ridiculous. So we need a $2 million person standing army. And we need to also maintain strong defenses and advantage in regions outside of our current control. Now, obviously, installing weapons in Poland was a very bold move that pissed off Putin. We stopped that operation in a way that kind of helped. But then Barack Obama started destabilizing relations with Vladimir Putin and calling him a jackass. And to this day, can't have a normal conversation with him. When I'm a president, I will do CAS, Ireland's Patriot. Every day we'll have a 1-hour chat room. Some $450 for an hour? Yeah, that wouldn't be a good deal. It was $4.50. That would be a good deal for it. Yeah, take a shower. It's quicker, DT Laura says. Yes, I told you, I do believe I'll be an effective commander-in-chief. I am dedicated to nonviolence. I'd be the first to tell you that, because I've lived that way. I've lived, and I've virtually maintained a nonviolent approach to life all my life, even at the expense of being beaten up by people that were a foot smaller than me. I chose that pathway because my father, who incidentally was a veteran in World War II, and ended up killing over 100 men in the Marianas, the Philippines, to defend our nation in the one army, in the one war that we actually won. My father taught me to be nonviolent. He was a recipient of the Purple Heart and a few other awards for valor. He was a war hero who looked to his son and said, I don't want my son to be a killer, a trained killer. So I, at that time, was looking to figure out ways of being nonviolent yet still defend myself, so I studied some martial arts, and I understand how to disable a person attacking me quickly, but I'm not here as an offensive martial artist. I don't believe in the Taekwondo method of offense versus defense. I approach this more like a Hapkido defense maneuver. So I will move in a way that would put you in the wall, but it wouldn't be intentional. I'm not trying to hurt you. My goal is to be a nonviolent pacifist my whole life. However, if I have to use a surgical strike against Iraqi forces and the Sunni uprising right now that's threatening Maliki's regime, which we helped to install, I would do that. So it's not going to prevent me from making a surgical strike on a potential enemy, working with the signals on the ground accurately to minimize, completely minimize any collateral damage. It's called self-defense. Anyway, I grew up in a very weird time when our country was reeling from having kicked some serious butt in World War II and then evolved into this great nation, which we hope to be still. But we've never had a leader who could actually lead and articulate great plans for this country except for John F. Kennedy. No, he was, no, look, I am a real man. Don't ever question my manhood. I am seriously built like a rock. I can seriously kick some major ass if I really wanted to. But I really don't want to because I'm dedicated to nonviolence, and I studied the same works that Mahatma Gandhi studied. The works of Henry David Thoreau on behalf of civil disobedience. And I've looked at that, and it had a major effect on me at the age of 17. All of this is going to be in my book. I'm not delusional. You people are delusional to think that your president, Obama, actually supports your mandate. You're delusional in thinking that he even gives a crap about the American people. No, my sisters didn't raise me. You'll read all about it in my autobiography. I'm definitely advocating surgical strikes. I am dedicated to nonviolence, but I will take out enemies who are known enemies of our allies, like Prime Minister Maliki. But I don't even think he is currently our ally. I think Obama is doing the same thing he did to Hosni Mubarak, ignored him. Or President Saleh of Yemen, ignored him. President Saleh was shot at, nearly assassinated, went back calling up for help from the Clintons, and they said, go back home and get arrested. I know, he's wasted too much money on Africa. We need to start doing things differently in that country. I'm sure he has bored people, but nothing like his counterpart, Emerson. What will you do for the veterans' benefits? Well, Country Night, we're going to try to rebuild the VA. We have a mobile medical unit system on tap to help provide immediate assistance to the vets for free, and whenever they're not working with vets, they can offer a copay of $25 will get you treated at a mobile medical unit. We're going to have 200 of those things built in 2017 and get them out there in the streets. I'm bypassing the greedy, corrupt healthcare professionals, I call them pro-criminals, who are ripping us off. You don't have to respond to Connie on any subject regarding my upbringing. Yeah, she's not the final word. Connie wasn't around past 1975. At that point, I took over my family, taking care of my parents. You'll read about it in my book. Anyway, I'm currently working on it. No, we would never attack Israel. They're an ally. No, we're not upgrading VA benefits to illegal immigrant benefits. We're actually making these facilities available to anybody, but veterans will get first priority. Not at all. I'm not contradicting my stance of policing the world. I believe that we need to subtract troops from the Middle East. Does that mean I want us to retreat and pull back home and become an isolationist nation? Hell no. We've fought too hard. Our Marines and Army have fought in harm's way and died defending areas like Fallujah, and now Barack Obama is just letting them go to hell. In fact, there's evidence that he may even be inspiring the takedown of Maliki's regime. Yeah. You can take anything as a joke. No, Connie didn't work for me on this campaign at all. I handed her a couple of brochures one day, and I said, you want to put these up in local billboards? And she said, oh, sure, I'll do it. I'm doing others. And then she ran around and she didn't put them up. Thank you, Rodney. There will be a book. I'm writing another book. I wrote Hybrid Capitalism. In case you want to get a copy, go to americasthirdparty.com and download it. But we developed Hybrid Capitalism to come up with brand new solutions for our economy. I've got a lot of things to talk to you about cutting waste if you really want to sit and talk about the issues. But I think it's more fun to talk about this unbelievable sabotaging of my efforts here to run. And I do still prefer the Democrats and their mandate. I do, but I don't even think they even understand that Obama didn't do any of it. They don't even get it. I think that the Democrats need to shed their skin like a sneaky snake that they are. It's obvious to me they need a new direction. If I could lead the Democrats out of the hellhole they're headed into, I would, believe me. But they don't have any new ideas. They basically turned into a joke of a party. They don't even question their leader. They use the defense that, oh, well, if you question him, it might you might be perceived as racist. They certainly call anybody who does question him a racist. Anyway, I'm not afraid to tell you that I've been beaten up before. I've taken sucker punches. I have been hit, and I can take as many hits as you could even imagine. Seriously. I don't talk about anything related to Connie on our show. Well, I know. Believe me, I can take a punch. I can take a lot of punches. And I've taken enough punches in my life to know that this is working. Our effort on this show, and that was a good point Rodney asked about, can we keep the momentum up to blackface? Blackface is all about waiting for the big release, the big reveal. And that is exactly what I will be doing. But in the same time, in the same spirit, our country needs a third party now more than ever. And we are seeing almost a gathering of like-mindedness among the people who are leaving the Republican Party and leaving the Democratic Party right now. And with the Ebola toll topping 900, and Obama has done nothing to stop this incredible breakdown in our economy, and he hasn't stopped the Africans from coming into our country. He's even encouraging them to come into the CDC. I don't ever fight people, I'm telling you. I've only fought in direct conflict in martial arts, but it's not some fighting that would hurt anybody. You got to understand, fighting is an aggressive act which an animal would do. It takes a greater man to not fight back. If you're asking me about any real issues in the show, feel free to ask away. David, did you steal your parents' house? No. I served my parents for 25 years. Literally. Day in, day out, providing them with everything a good son would provide, all the way up until the last days of their life. And I was rewarded, like in many Norwegian families, you're rewarded, that one son is rewarded for everything that they do for their parents. What has happened to me is no different than countless other Norwegians around the world. So don't accuse me of being a Norwegian. Otherwise, I'll call you a racist. But I have a Norwegian ancestry, but I grew up in Los Angeles. I was born in Los Angeles. I believe that we cannot possibly build nations 2601, and our greater military intelligence has told us that it will fail if we push democracy around the world. That's why I'm completely against Arab Spring. Barack Obama is destabilizing countries like Egypt. He did so by allowing the Arab Spring groups to go in, without his consent, mind you, commit a violation of the Logan Act, and he then tacitly approved of the entire mission of ignoring all of Egypt's requests by Hosni Mubarak for support. Consequently, the Muslim uprising occurred and Masri was elected. And in that strange turn of events, it's almost like the CIA invested some serious money into the military and General Sisi, who then committed heinous acts, 800 deaths in Egypt, which hardly anybody knows about. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it, 458, but we're not going to hurt anybody. I believe in second chances. I do, Brew Brummer. Yeah. I will be doing another Sling Blade movie as soon as Billy Bob Thornton gives me approval. I like the way you talk. I like taters and mustard. I'll do whatever I can to get that movie back up and resurrect it. Thank you. My opinion of Joe Walsh, great musician. Fantastic. Moron comes to mind. 458, that's funny. Our City Hall, our Oak Harbor City Hall, has got the intelligence of a small, well, let me not tell you what kind of a rodent they actually resemble, but they have the intelligence of a small housefly. I have 185 tested IQ. I can think circles around most of you people in this chat room, but I appreciate some of you scholars for coming in and asking me questions. Obama is dismantling the U.S. That was always his and his cohort's plan, Bobcat Bob. Anyway, I urge all of you to teach nonviolence to your kids. I don't plan on living in a violent world. You know, my dad said to me before he died, he said, David, war is obsolete. And I said, really? Oh, I hope you're right, Dad. It is 185. It's tested. War is obsolete. The problem is we've got all these monetary interests around the world and these bankers that want to profit from military contracts because they invest in the military. The bankers do. And they want us to go around flying tomahawks into innocent families in Afghanistan and killing off innocent villagers, testing their weapons. And you people are too dumb to realize that. All you have to do is see the movie Dirty Wars. Check it out. Dirty Wars is an excellent reveal about the kind of killings that have gone on under Barack Obama. Now, during the attack on the Boston Marathon attack, when that whole thing went down, that day, it's funny, that day, the New York Times ran an article that ended up at the back pages showing without a doubt that Obama has actually violated human rights more than George W. Bush. Look at failing with this show is not, you call this failing? There's a lot of people in the room, man. You call this failing? I'm sorry, but your definition of failure is what? 50 million people in a room talking about things politically when they don't even talk normally? Liberia's president declares a state of emergency amid Ebola outbreak. Sidewalk sale, thank you. Yeah, we know this thing is serious, and if we don't get leadership from our president, we're going to be in dire need of a serious clampdown on our borders. We need that right now, actually. We need to clamp down on the borders. All of you who are watching this someday in archive at Google Hangout will look back and say, wow, this guy really wanted to lock down the borders. He could have saved all of us countless deaths in this country. Wow. If only he had been president. That's right. Could affect 50 million people to start. Okay. Obama is literally, yeah, he's letting it all fall apart, folks. Hey, you know the biggest problem here are these Democrats and Obama-tards that are in here trying to hold on to a sinking ship, the Obama administration. It's fascinating to see how you don't even understand that he has overspent $6.66 trillion since he became president. It's crazy. He continues to be out of whack with the budget. Tonight we're going to be looking at the monthly Treasury report, and I'll show you all of the serious dangers of overspending. Many of you have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm talking above your head because you have no idea what the budget is. The budget is only being paid for by borrowed money. The tax dollars you guys put into your local taxes through income tax, actually your national taxes, that money is being used to pay the interest on the debt. It goes to the Treasury, and then they write a check to the Federal Reserve that pays the interest on the debt that they're enlarging to pay for operations. I would remain that I'm more of a protectionist. I'm listening to you right now, Tixos. Yeah, 2601, I'm listening to you. All right, this one goes out to all the Ebola victims. Thank you. Ron, you don't post things about candy here. I really appreciate that. Show some respect. Surely you could respect a woman who's fighting through countless attacks on the internet. I mean, you of all people, Rodney, you should find some commonality in her quest. You being a person who's, you know, enjoyed the comfort of a lady. Respect, yeah. Show a little respect. Okay. People die every day. Are you some sort of a sociopath? Guess 174? It seems like 174 is a sociopath, everybody. We got a hot sociopath in the chat room. I'm advocating continued advantage, not involvement. Did I say send more troops in? You said I advocate continued involvement in foreign nations. I'm talking about maintaining automated superiority, and we already are on track to do that. I just want to save you guys some money on the military-industrial hardware that you're buying. A typical UAV Predator costs $10 million. I am not mentally ill. That's an outright, that's slanderous. I have no mental problems whatsoever. It's just it takes a while for me to actually rev up and communicate with everyone in the room, and I'm sorry if I missed some of your chat. Look, you want me to pull out and retreat from every known involvement we have around the world and watch the nations around that are our allies collapse? What is your problem, man? Are you completely dense? You keep coming in the room with this black and white mentality. You need to get gray. Get into the gray zone, and you'll understand our foreign policy and how it's evolving. Look, I can think about 10 times faster than you people can think, so bring it. Ask me some serious questions. Thank you for coming into the Hangout, by the way. Yeah, it's pretty difficult to respond to 3 different chat rooms, but let me try. Hi, IQ doesn't make you a good person. This person has an IQ of 7, and even I know that. That's right. We've had a lot of people with low IQs come into our show, like Awesome Carl. He has a known IQ of 79. Hey, it's me, Awesome Carl. And he has asked us questions in our show. And I've dealt with the answers, and I can tell you that that's as far as it goes. Water seeks its own level, and frankly, I am not retarded. I do need some clout. I don't need power, I need clout. Something to make this nation start popping. We need to start producing things and stop leaning on foreign countries to do it. I'm more of a protectionist president, whereas Barack Obama is more of a bend over and grab your ankles president. Yeah, he doesn't care about American business. He's done nothing to protect American business. Even Obamacare single-handedly wipes out businesses that have over 50 employees. Who would have ever put that plan together with any intelligent goal to build business? It's crazy. Your 79 is close to the average. You know, if you drop below 70, you can actually collect full disability. You know, I'm not here to fix my teeth. I'll tell you why I haven't fixed this tooth here. I'll tell you why. And I know you're concerned. Number one, if I fill it in, I can't bite somebody off. Somebody's like, you know, no. If I fill it in, it's not as sharp as it normally is. Number two, I'm really debating right now of getting a whole new set of teeth called press-on veneers. There's no cognitive dissonance here. I'm clear on everything I'm talking about. Thank you. Fake it, the disability? No, don't fake anything. You can't fake a neurological test. No, I'm having a decent conversation with you, 574. Just get your hands out of your pants. That would really improve your conversation, because right now masturbation and communication don't go hand in hand, unless, of course, you are touching yourself. I'm for family farms, for sure. I also don't want corporate mass agriculture. I spearheaded a plan to create organic food production in the 1980s. And I can tell you that organic food is so much better than regular food. It's so good. And I would serve you all beautiful cherry tomatoes from my garden right now, if only there wasn't a drought. And it's all dying in California. We still have water here, but it's pretty much gone in California. We're facing global climate change, no question about it, but it's being artificially created by our government. I know, if you want to talk about chemtrails, come to Truth Tuesday, because it's no longer a question of do they spray, the question is why are they spraying, because we already know they do. You buy organic at Costco, that's smart. Save money on organic, but typically organic food is more expensive, but believe me, I want to bring more nutrition to our soil and make it drought resistant. 574, you've been very intelligent yourself, but unfortunately you have no questions. I read everything you say, it's more like an attack on me. Right. Yeah, you could get full disability if you have an IQ below 70. Yep. You can't fake it, I'm telling you. They know the difference between fake IQ. Now, if you wanted to get full disability in any state in the union, all you have to do is become a heroin addict, and then become a methadone user, and get $1,200 a month, and get a snacky poo every time you go in for your pills. Yeah. And if you don't get there on time, you may cause 3 or 4 accidents on the way. Yeah, we got a wonderful system helping all these degenerates who are druggies get by, but the American citizens who are hardworking, losing their lives, their families, their homes, they're on the street pitching a tent under the overpass. I'm not running for anything locally. This was a test, 458, and you failed it. A lot of you are in this room thinking, oh, wow, you can really attack this guy. I definitely was against the war in Iraq 2601. I told the Democrats at a Democratic club meeting that I don't want to ratify it. They said, well, Maria Cantwell wants to ratify it. Why don't you shut up? They told me to shut up when I said I wouldn't ratify the war in Iraq. But now that we have been in Iraq, we need to at least preserve the infrastructure that we built there. And right now we put $1.5 trillion into the infrastructure, and you Democrats don't even care because all you want to do is tax and spend, tax and spend. Sounds like a broken record. It's the tax and spend show with all the Democrats. Tax and spend, all we want to do is tax and spend, tax and spend, and tax and spend and spend. I mean, it would be a great game show, wouldn't it? So how would you want to pay for beautiful, beautiful windmills, green energy tax credits, tax and spend, tax and spend, tax and spend? You know, I've got ideas that will actually solve America's energy crisis that don't involve corporations and venture capital, that involve the United States building a couple of items. That's all it would take. A rooftop solar panel system that rolls out like a carpet, vertical windmills on all the electric poles across the nation. These are ideas we're running with on our site. How will you get the Gaza Strip back in peace and harmony with the Jews? We have a plan to create a solution that will provide fresh water to the Middle East. Absolutely. Our goal is to provide a seawater pipeline, much like this system I'm showing you right now. This is the Ocean Pipeline project we're working on, and it's at oceanpipeline.com if you want to check it out. But the concept involves stringing all these modules along in an array and running seawater through them using renewable energy systems like water or solar and wind power. What happens is the salt water desalinates by evaporating, and all the dewdrops of fresh water drop into these side reservoirs down inside the dome. These are sealed units that can be constructed. They're 7 foot by 11 foot. They can be constructed in a linear or an array pattern and can produce 2 gallons per unit per day. A unit like this strung across the Gaza Strip would produce about 250,000 gallons of fresh water a day. You just run it back and forth. I'm not a comedian. I'm trying to help you understand we have very little time here. If you think this is a joke and you think my campaign's a joke, and you're a local public official with your head up your ass, I understand. You probably have no idea what you're dealing with me. I'm a person who has listened to your meetings, been there as the radio director in this town, seen all of you work in slow motion while the things fall apart around you right now. Yeah. Hang on, we got it. We got a guy here who claims to be Dave Hayes. Check this out. And he's adding to all the information I'm accumulating. Wow. Okay, well, all of this goes into a record, and all of you know that this chat is copyable. All right, good. I'm just glad you finally tuned in my show. A lot of you have your head up your serious butt and have no clue as to what's happening. Dave, you have outspent more than any other Republican in the history of this area. If I was running against you as second place, which I should have had you not stolen my signs, which is illegal, I would claim that you're wasting money by buying a $42 million ferry we didn't need. We don't need 2 ferries going to Port Townsend. You're a tax and spend conservative. You really are showing exactly what we're dealing with here. The two-party conspiracy is these guys get together and they just keep spending money. You put our state $90 billion in debt, Dave. And now you're standing around going, you want to get reelected because you're a career politician. You're not here to help the people. You're just here to suck up to the corporations like the ferry company that contact you. Hey, Dave, how you doing? Let's get another ferry on board. What do you say, huh?
Well, let me see. I'll try to work through the budgeting and get down. Oh, okay, I'll get you another $42 million. I'm sure we can scrape it out of some taxpayer.
You people need pills. Yeah. I'm fine. I'm not a whack man. I'm a guy who's talking to the people. I'm the only guy who's been here 3 hours a day for the past 6 years talking to the people about America. Okay, there you go. Hey, we're recording all this, so it's going into a file that will be looked at by my attorney. We're just going to take a look at what you're saying and the kind of threats you make, so bring it. I'm not talking to my opponent. I'm talking to a troll. You know that. I'm not cracking up 2014. I'm doing fine. The thing that you don't understand is this has been a tremendous challenge to get even a few people into a chat room to talk about America's third party. We have been fighting to get you people in. Now, if you just want to leave and think we're never going to be a problem for you in the future, my days of running for local office are probably over. No, I'm not going to read troll chat, hardly. No, we've got a lot of things we're working on. Meow TV, my attorney is not the issue. The issue is people making threats in the chat room. We copy all of that. I've been living under a constant threat of death for the past 5 or 6 years. Okay, good luck. I've got a whole lot of signs right now, all of which you basically sabotaged, but many of them are still in form. As you can see, this one's been beaten up and posted 3 times. Protect nature. Preserve freedom. Can you read that? Good. I live in a forest, I know. But this is a thing that is not appropriate. Sabotaging signs to win an election shows me how weak and insecure the Democrats really are. And I kind of pulled you out of your little hole that you're in, you sneaky snakes. Yeah. We're going to see where you go from here, because guess who's going to be blamed for all the economic crash that's coming? You. Voting for Obama was the worst thing you could have done. Choosing a liar, not a leader, has put our nation at risk. You are basically the cause of our problems at this point. I'm going to blame George Bush too. Oh, don't get me wrong. I don't like George W. Bush and his cronies like Karl Rove. I've got a lot of problems with them. But you have basically done the unthinkable. You've allowed a president to release contagious disease through the southern border among 52,000 young people, to turn a blind eye to Ebola patients coming into the country and not even putting a clamp on Nigerian travel into the U.S. You're seeing a guy basically bumble his way. He should be called Obama the bumbling idiot. I'm not showing my TV spots because, like I said, I'm holding back information until we actually get to the point where we're going to pursue something. These might be held in evidence. I don't know. I don't want them running all around the internet. I don't want to contaminate a jury pool. It would be improper for me to contaminate a jury pool. I am correct. Thank you, Sir Quack. Hey, I'm getting good legal advice, I'll tell you. I'm not in any way worried about my adversaries who are trying to threaten me. Basically, they don't even know what to do with me. I'm a person they've never seen before, a person who actually knows what he's talking about, who doesn't need to speak off a teleprompter. I find it interesting to see how people are kind of aghast at what I'm doing. I am resolving things with decisiveness. What's your question, 2601? Want to get out and stay out? Yeah. I'm not meddling in other foreign affairs. I would never instigate Arab Spring like Barack Obama did. There's no lies here. Everything's true. The city's going to force me out? How are they going to force me out? Wow, that's another good one. How are they going to force me out? They're already denying my freedom. Now you're saying they're going to force me out. Wow. That's another good one to send on. Good. All right, keep it up. Now, we have a focus on the country. We've been doing this for 6 years. I wouldn't ban anybody on Vaughn right now, Dave's TriCaster, sorry. I don't know what fine about undisclosure is at this point. We've met and complied with everything that we needed to.
Yes, we did.
If we're one day away from complying on another level, Sarah's researching.
No, it's according to me,
Yeah.
it's false information written by a reporter.
False information written by a reporter. These are the kind of things that are put into a nice little sealed file and taken to an attorney, okay? We don't need to talk about this right
Not
now.
a local reporter.
It's not a local reporter that made that false allegation. Oh, it is a vote. Okay.
Not the local newspaper in our area.
It's not the local newspaper in our area. It's a false allegation from a local reporter. Yeah, we're in total compliance. Hey, we have been in 100% FEC compliance since we started this in 2008. I've been doing this show with Sarah every single night. That's the kind of dedication we have. And you think you're going to kick me out of my neighborhood? You got to be kidding me. I don't need to deal with that right now.
Okay. Do you want me to just send something?
Oh, I'll read it. Yeah, hang on. Okay, let's play a video for you guys, something that I made about a year and a half ago or so. It's called The Spawning of America. And those of you who are supportive of gun rights will enjoy this video. It's pretty funny. I did it in my backyard with my BB guns. But it really typifies my position on gun rights and how important it is to have the ability to bear a gun in defense of your personal mortal safety. Okay, and you over at Hangout, let's give you guys something to watch too.
Can I stay here? Absolutely, you can sit and watch. Right, we'll see what happens. Come on, man. Send in your mastermind, because it's going to need that.
Alex studies wild birds, which he releases after 3 months of research. This one is nicknamed 007, and it's about to attempt what Alex believes is one of the most complex tests of the animal mind ever constructed.
Good job.
The bird is familiar
You
with the
responded to life.
individual
Thanks for getting on it,
objects,
so.
but this
Appreciate it.
is
You
the
didn't write
first
it.
time
This is
he's
the
seen
first
them
time
arranged
you've done
like
it.
this.
Because that's false information.
I want to add that to my
Several
list. I want
stages
to go to
that
the
must
site.
be
And
completed in
yeah,
a
so you go to the
specific
site and then
order
save it in
if
the
the
website,
puzzle is to be solved.
ATP
And if the bird succeeds,
Save it in the website.
it'll be a world first.
That's who I
It
talked to. She was
takes
so
time
nice.
to have a look, and then
I did an
starts with the
online
short
video.
stick.
I didn't file any extra information with PDC. I guess I could have filed that. I got
Stage
$100.
1.
Well, she was so nice
He
to you.
finds it's too short to
They're
reach
so
the
nice
food.
to you. They're
He
snapping.
then sets off to get the first stone.
How did you know? Seriously. I couldn't even describe it. Both of these interviews were like the best time.
But he drops it.
Yeah, ATP. Both these interviews were like talking to the sweetest people ever. I'm telling you, the sweetest. Dealing with pure evil.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And another. He seems to be stuck. But then, something seems to click. He deploys the first stone. And then another.
Nick 9.
Got it.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for coming in. And by the way, we do these shows every night, so if you want to talk about politics at any time, tune in. Feel free. We are dedicated to constantly producing new ideas for America's problems that are common sense, low-cost solutions that won't take your tax dollars. Remarkable. I'm taking a picture of another. Okay, that was interesting. I showed a picture of how intelligent crows are. Interesting. I was playing that in the Hangout over there. Very interesting story about how amazing animals can be when it comes to making logical decisions. Even you folks can actually somehow grow a brain cell and decide a third party is better than these corrupt two-party cronies that are trying to control our country's future. I got a C+. Wow, it moved from a C- to a C+. Yay. The NRA gave me a questionnaire about whether I supported gun rights, and I do. As you can see from the video, it was kind of a tongue-in-cheek video that I did about assault BB guns, just to show you that I support gun rights. Thank you. And the thing that makes me confident that America is safer when the American people have guns is the statistics I read. Like Australia, when they implemented gun control, 60% more home invasions occurred. As soon as people had no guns to defend themselves, 60% more home invasions occurred. You know, when the Supreme Court authorized handguns in both Washington, D.C. and Chicago in 2009, within a year, the crime rate dropped 34% once people were able to handle a gun, a handgun that was a concealed weapons permit safe. All right. I know many people who are homosexual look at me and go, "Are you gay?" And absolutely not. I'm not gay. I've never been gay. Never had a homosexual experience. Don't want to have a homosexual experience. Find it abhorrent, actually, but I think that a lot of you need to stop discriminating gay people. Okay? I think it's a little messed up that people are discriminating against gay people. I tell you, if I had a child and that child decided to be gay, I wouldn't discriminate against that child. So why are you treating people so horribly who happen to be gay? Yeah, Sarah's going to come in now. She took care of it. We sent out a letter. There was no meat to that story. It was all confabulated in some reporter's mind. Thank you so much, Sarah, for doing that. But I want all of you to remember that this campaign is going on, and these signs like this, Preserve Freedom, Protect Nature, will be part of my 2016 campaign. I am expanding this whole campaign to cross the nation, and we're probably going to start getting signatures to get on the ballot in Iowa soon. I know. Some people decide to be gay. That's right. What about Ben Gay? Exactly. Great topical ointment for muscle aches.
Hi, Laura. And hi, Gus.
So the NRA asked me a bunch of questions. I answered them all correctly, according to me. I said, yes, I support gun rights. Yes. The only thing I said no to was their attempt to get rid of the registration period for guns in Washington. So they give me a C+, I find out. I think they upgraded me from C- to C+ when I wrote them that letter.
Oh, good.
I think I got upgraded from C- to C+. Thanks for checking.
Yeah.
You can make your own yard signs. We make our own, but you can print them out on our site, or you could actually, blow them up to 11 by 17. This particular sign I made out of two 11 by 17s combined. These are 11 by 17 down this way. So this is an 11 by 17. That's an 11 by 17. I fused them together. And the cost to make this sign was about $3, including all the tape and wrappings and of course the stake. The stakes for about $1. Anyway, you can run a campaign of your own for your own local election, like we did, and your votes are going to cost you about 33 cents a piece. So if you want to make, I got almost 4,000 votes, so it cost me $1,200 total. And it wasn't just me. We got a big donation, allowable by law, $500 donated by Reverend B. And that helped tremendously in getting those TV spots made. But at least we talked about my website on the TV channel. I got that advertising out there. So we're raising the bar of awareness about who David Sponheim is and what America's Third Party is. I made all these signs. I made 150 signs, Robert. Yeah. I made all the signs. Sarah was working with me to cut boxes. But we managed to use free cardboard to do it. Recycled. We bought some cardboard, excuse me. You're right. Cardboard. Yeah, actually, we did buy cardboard. I went to the Walmart in my area, and I bought the large cardboard that went into the back of these things. I know. Yeah, we did it all ourselves. And, you know, 33 cents a vote is almost a record, everybody. Sniper Skills was saying the stick where the crow grabs a stick from a YouTube and uses the stick in another tube and once, yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. I just played that for our Hangout shows, Sniper Skills. It's pretty cool. I've seen it. I played it for the other show, but I played the other video for them. We're recording a video over at Hangout. I think you got to come in a little bit more. Thank you. And now we can just talk about the day. We finally reached that lull in the show where 15 minutes before our next hour, where we get a little bit more off the beaten path.
15 minutes left.
Yeah.
Well, 15 minutes till the after show, and then another hour. We call it the after show.
I am so lucky to have Sarah in my life, and you know, and I know how lucky I am. But many of you don't realize that it's not just luck. You have to actually work really hard to find a woman as wonderful as Sarah. Truly, there are a few of them out there, some gems. But it took me 11 hours a day for 2 years chatting online to meet Sarah. I'm serious. That's 700 times 11. That's 7,000 hours of broadcasting or going online. Back in the old days when I met Sarah in 1998, there were things like this that were actually better in some ways than the chat rooms today.
So they didn't have video, though.
They didn't have video. That's true. But I know. I am lucky. And frankly, I had reached the bottom of the barrel. The lady that I dated before this had been a religious person who didn't really match with me, and she disliked me so much that I thought one night that this person was evading me by changing her name, and her name was Callie Gal, I believe.
Oh.
And your name was Callie
Smiles.
So I went looking for Callie Gal, thinking this woman was trying to break up with me online. And lo and behold, I met a woman named Callie Smiles, and I just started talking to this person online. And then after about, I'd say, 2 days of good chat, I called her up. She gave me her phone number. But first I had to send her an audio tape, I think. Maybe it was 3 days of chat.
You didn't have to, but you did.
I sent her an audio tape to show her that I was just, I'm David, and I still have that audio tape. And she liked my voice.
I do like your voice. Yeah. You have a good voice.
So I then called her on the phone, and it instantly turned into, wow, this is amazing. This is the first time I've met anybody online who everything seems to click. I don't know if you've been in that situation. And we met her on a network that's no longer available called Excite, and it was the VP Excite chat room. And it was full of great tools that you don't even see in chat rooms today. An audio love poem, yeah, kind of like that.
Well, at the time I did have this, I had 2 usernames. One was Kelly Smiles and one was Vote for Me.
Oh yeah, you had Vote for Me, I know. And you helped a Republican get elected down in California,
when
right?
I was 18.
When you were 18. So she worked with a Republican.
Because they were the first campaign that called me back.
Yeah.
They wanted people to volunteer for them.
And you volunteered, yeah. Anyway, we did a lot of fun stuff. The first year we met, it was just amazing. I courted just visiting her. It's like 6 times I went down there to see and meet her because I was looking for someone who could actually help me in my life, deal with my my parents' terrible illness, and not necessarily become part of my life. And it would just worked out that everything clicked. It just worked out perfectly for us. And I must tell you, if you don't meet a person you're instantly attracted to.
I don't remember the whirlpool, but I do remember you could go into a room and Excite, and there's like like this base, and then you had your little emoticons, which were little pictures of yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Candy Rain's here because she wants to hang out with our show, and that's fine.
What do you need someone to help you with, Siren Seed?
You're right, Mad Dog. That's a good way of putting it. The Democratic Party left him. Yeah, that's how I felt when I was a Democrat for 30 years. And I still prefer the Democratic Party, ironically, because I still care about the common interests of the environment, getting rid of Wall Street big bankers from our government, and contaminating our economy with all their printed money. But many of the Democrats don't understand the whole picture. They don't understand how completely corrupt this whole thing is. And that's why Patty Murray is so connected to the military-industrial complex. She's part of the problem. Anyway, I don't want to get off subject here. The subject is Sarah and I meeting online. Yeah, but I do side with much of the mandate of the Democrats. That's why I had to put that out there so you understood my politics. I've had Tea Party people come in here and say, yeah, you're definitely a fiscal conservative too. And I am. I'm not here to take your tax dollars. So unlike many Democrats who believe taxing is the only way to get money, we actually wrote a book about how our country can make money back through a way of looping capital. For instance, our country spends about $85 billion a year on food stamps right now. It's right up around $85 billion. We have over 100 million people now collecting food stamps.
Did you say something like 1 out of every 3 people?
1 out of every 3 people is on food stamps in America.
Or adults?
1 out of every 3 adults are on food stamps in America. So $85 billion goes out for food stamps. We would like to see a solution to that. And we found this way in which the same organization that runs the food stamp program, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, is run through USDA. That same organization actually produces money for farmers called farm subsidies. They give them free money, printed money, as insurance against crop loss, etc. But they also tell them not to grow things to prop the prices of food up so that lots of products aren't on the market, lowering the price. Well, it turns out that we came up with an idea called the Essential Food Plan, where we could actually get a huge reduction. I could drop $85 billion in cost, or close to it, in 2 years by getting the government to give those farmers money to grow things, the same money they currently get, and we take those things and sell them back to people who are on food stamps. So we loop that capital and we save the country billions of dollars doing it, and we can produce food that can sell elsewhere. We can export food. And I'm envisioning frozen entrees that are made out of really good ingredients, great recipes that are low fat, low salt, that will be outstanding for our health. And you could feed like 2 people for $2. A nice entree that you could just throw in the microwave and boom, you're ready to go. And all of these food items could be very well made in generic packaging, and we can easily bring money back into our economy this way. That's looping the capital. These are ideas that you won't hear from anybody else out there in the political realm. We have not in any way borrowed these ideas. These are all original, and we wrote about them in our book, Hybrid Capitalism. Thank you so much. Who's leaving here? Veggie New York, or what's happening? Everyone's saying goodnight. Yeah, $619 billion unaccounted for this week, Fat Vinny. I wouldn't doubt it.
According to a watchdog site. Yeah.
We won't allow the NAACP to engage in controlling our government operations. Affirmative action is going to go too. We're going to put together an equal rights amendment by 2017 that will get rid of affirmative action once and for all. We should not be judged on the color of our skin. No one should be seen as, oh, you're a white person, or you're a black person, or you're a Hispanic. I'm against affirmative action. I'm a victim of affirmative action. I've talked about that before. Thank you for coming in. You've already got a Callie Smiles who just got their own name and is trying to court me here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm living up to it every day of my life.
David will be like, you know, where he thought it was me, but it's really someone else. And he just started talking to her, and he's found the new love of his life. No.
No, it'll never happen. You are the only love of my life. You really are. What illness did your parents have? My dad had cancer, Parkinson's, and heart disease. My mom had emphysema, cancer, and heart disease. They both struggled to live a full life, but they ended up living as long as the average person, 75 and 77 respectively. My mother lived to be about 75, my dad lived to be about 77. It was a short life, and I really wished I'd been with them longer, but I spent 40 years with my parents, and I was the one child that stuck in there and did everything for them, everything. They didn't go without anything. At one point, my mother had a freezer full of frozen food that was, I called it the museum, remember that?
Oh, the food museum.
Sarah had a chance to meet my parents
Yeah, I did.
for 2 years.
I knew his mom for 1 year and 8 months.
Yep.
And I knew his dad for a little over 2 years.
2 years, yeah. God, I think my voice is. I should talk more like this, and you should talk more.
Oh, I should talk more like this.
Yeah, and that would be better, because she talks really loud, she's far away, and I talk really loud, and I'm close to the mic. Yeah, that might be better.
I don't see the point in talking too loud.
Okay, well, whatever.
All the time. I mean, of course it's good to talk loud so you can all understand what I'm saying.
But I need to lower my voice, that's the point.
I know.
Thank you. You love how we're both interacting? Good. Well, we want to bring you more of our personal lives and bring you into our life, because as average Americans, we have dedicated our life at this point, part of our life, because this is more of an avocation, to building a third party and getting people aware of their serious need for a third party. Your dad has schizophrenia and is bipolar, Charles? I understand. There's a lot of things that are unique about people when they get older. My parents, they got a little quirky, and my mom used to like to order things off the platter, kind of, or off. I'm a great cook. I'm a person who can cook a meal that you would just go, wow. And within 30 minutes, I could put food in front of you that were going, whoa. I did that with my third cousin, and I had him over to our house. I don't talk to the guy anymore because he's a total Obama-tard. But my third cousin came over to my house, and all he would do is brag about this meal I made with simple ingredients. I made some rigatoni and a white sauce with a little bit of yogurt, and it was like a low-fat white sauce with dill. And I put one of those $1 bag of bay scallops in it, and some chives, and peas. I put green peas in it. I stirred it all up, and I served it to him, and he was like raving about it. His wife was like, "Why are you saying that?" It's like almost like I was in some way insulting her. It seemed by making a good meal. But I love to cook, and I used to make my mother these amazing dishes, and she couldn't eat them because she was so sick from the radiation therapy and the chemo. And she would have about that much, just a small amount, and then I'd put it in the freezer. So by the time 2 weeks rolled around, I'd have like 16 stacks of freezer food all with saran over them. And I was like, literally, they're getting freezer burn. After 2 months, you got to throw them out. So every 2 months, we would throw out all this great food, scallops, shrimp. It was just unbelievable. So our compost heap got really, really good food. Peas, David and peas melt my heart, yeah. Peas are part of my family heritage. My mother's side came from England, and they used a lot of peas in England, bangers and mash, that kind of thing. Anyway, I think this has been fun, a lot more fun than just talking about politics. Open Topic Night was originally what Wednesdays were. We used to talk about social issues like, I support lesbian, gay, bi, transgender rights. I don't want them discriminated against. I don't want people targeted in the workplace for being gay. I also am pro-choice, but I am aware of a lot of you, like Candy Rain, is she's pro-life, and she'd like to see some serious changes in this department. And I've suggested a solution to this problem where we begin limiting the amount of abortions that Planned Parenthood does to strictly first trimester abortions within the first 12 weeks of a woman's pregnancy. She should know whether she wants to keep the baby. Sarah will be working on the homestead renewal plan or anything she wants to work on. She's very passionate about housing and education.
Housing is the first priority.
I don't eat any fast food normally, except when we're on cross-country trips. Well, I'll go in to get a double cheeseburger at McDonald's or something, if I absolutely have to. I don't limit what I eat when I have to get something to eat. If they've got food, I'm eating it. Today we drove by Stanwood to pick up signs there that one of the big signs we put up in Stanwood had been taken away.
Yep.
All 5 of our major signs, folks, were destroyed and sabotaged within a day of them being put up. So we didn't get the line of sight we expected. The Democrats sabotaged our campaign. For all of you who haven't heard, I'm very seriously concerned about my civil rights being abridged in this matter. And I'm going to be making a serious inquiry into various laws being broken here. But aside from vandalism against my signs, my big signs, they also slammed me in the media and did so in a way that may have violated the law. I'm still looking at that. I'm not a racist. Never been a racist. You don't understand free speech. This country is about free speech. I have the right to impersonate Barack Obama. You don't have the right to take that away from me. You don't understand that I could not have impersonated him in whiteface. All right, well, you are one of those people that doesn't understand what this country was predicated on. You're the scourge facing our country, 1629. You're the communist threat coming in through the Democratic Party. You're one of the Marxists that's been embedded in that little program. You believe in collectivism. You don't believe in the sense that we have inalienable rights. You completely forgot that we all have free speech and the right to bear arms. You people want to take away our right to bear arms, you're going to lose the next election. I assure you. I will win in 2016 if you keep pushing on this. You think this whole little foray that happened in the local election is some sort of a major event? This is nothing. This local election is like a blip in the universe. I did this because I wanted to show you intent and desire to help the people of this nation become fiscally responsible and make government accountable. But you don't want that. You want to continue to hire these cronies in Washington State that are bankrupting this state. So the signs were all on public easements, every one of them. Whenever we had a complaint from anybody, we immediately went right at it, and I did everything I could to make sure and mitigate any kind of encroachment. Sometimes signs are like a foot inward. You know, anyone could say you put your stake too close to the inside of my property. I mean, you got about a 4-foot strip there that we put the signs on.
Yeah. There was one sign, I think that was, and we went and removed it right away when they said.
Thank you, DT Laura.
They contacted us and said this is on private property, and
right.
we just said, oh well, if you don't want our sign, then we can take it out away.
Yeah, I saw a sign that was completely in disrepair, had been vandalized by the Jets Equal Jobs people, and I put my sign on that because I talked to a friend of mine who's spearheading a program to end the jet flights over our area. He's putting together a court case against the Navy right now. This friend of mine, I'm not going to name who it is, but he told me that they weren't using the sign, so I went ahead and put my sign on top of it. The next morning, I got a call from this gentleman. He said, "Do you know that we own? I know a lady that owns that property. Did you ask for approval?" And I said, "No, I actually got clearance from somebody I know, who was working with the group that put that sign up originally." "Well, you should check it out." I said, "Sir, in honor of your request, I'm pulling that sign down right now." And we did it immediately. We got in the car, went right over there, and pulled it right down. And I complied with every single request anybody had of any kind of a sign problem, even though I think I had rights to put signs up in areas that most people thought I didn't have rights to do. But I made sure I complied within a day on almost every single question that came up. Oh, great. A high official of a major black organization discussed your video. What's there to do? I'm impersonating the president. Yeah, you got to understand. Hang on, I want to do something. I need to copy that.
Oh, I already got rid of it.
No, this one right here. It's not working. It's not working. Anyway. All right, well, please feel free. If anybody has any concern about the blackface video that I did, single-handedly, I did it, feel free to question me at any time. In fact, call me on the phone. I'm available a lot during the day. If you want to call me and ask questions. I have the right to impersonate a black president. I do. It's freedom of speech. And I want all of you to know that it's a real watershed issue, because you seem to think that I don't have the right to impersonate a president or parody a president. And that's a real big concern of mine, because you're in America. You're not in some foreign country like England. There are laws against any slur whatsoever, like a racial statement, like if you call a Pakistani person in England a Paki, you can get arrested. Well, this is precisely why our nation emancipated from England. So many of you who think that you can just roll over and forget about your freedom and your rights and go ahead and become part of this politically correct collectivism that you seem to be embracing, you're forgetting where you're living. And you're also forgetting the people that are against you. There are a lot of people that really... Steve Bridges got applauded, but I get vilified. Exactly, 553. Here's a video, folks, and I can't play this for you right now over here at the Google Hangout. But I can play you guys a brief moment with a guy named Steve Bridges, who 2 years after I did my Broken St. Obama's video, he came out with his video impersonating Barack Obama, and check this out.
To our stage, Steve Bridges as President Barack Obama.
Wow, name your price. Thanks for telling me. I won't be going to England anytime soon.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Have a seat.
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight to my $1,000 a plate fundraiser. I wanted to send Joe Biden, but I was afraid he would talk.
All right, so this guy, I'm not going to play our video, no. This guy actually did a great impersonation of Barack Obama, and a year and a half later, after 2010, that was his 2011 impersonation video. He did a bunch of them. And around 2012, he died. I'm good at it. Believe me, I haven't even done my Blackface 2 will be a much better impersonation. I did the first few seconds of the Blackface video myself. And you're saying I'm going to be killed? Could you write that out, spell it out exactly what you mean? Otherwise, I'm going to ban you. Oh, I'm not saying Obama had anything to do with the death of Steve Bridges. Okay, we don't get your URLs here, so when you post a threatening link, go ahead and become a member, and then you can post. I know, free speech, huh? Exactly. So Steve Bridges did that. He ended up dying choking to death when he got back from a trip to China. The doctor said he had an allergic reaction and his whole throat shut down and he choked to death. Yeah, he died in 2012. He did a lot of great videos. He did a video of George W. Bush that's hilarious. At one point, he even looked like him. Check this out. This is from the Foxworthy. There's Jeff Foxworthy. Okay. Didn't mean to do that.
I like his choice. They're simple. Jeff's a simple man. He's a simple man, but he's a smart man.
So the guy was hilarious. I'm not nervous at all. I'm a little concerned about you being in the room because you seem to be threatening or some nature. I'd get another name as Guest 329. Tis dude, David is such a morn. You can't even speak English and you're calling me a morn. Wow, you're really out to lunch, dude.
Morning.
Where did you get educated? In Nairobi? Are you one of the Ebola victims that is coming over here in a bus? Interim guidance about Ebola virus, CDC. Thank you, Candy Rain. Folks, we shouldn't even have shipments of humans from Nigeria at this point, or any country of Africa. We need to get this thing under control. We're back? Okay, thank you. All right, well, why don't we have any kind of a plan in place to stop shipments? All kinds of carloads of potential shipments coming from Africa right now, people. I mean, these are terrible times when we are allowing any visitor who's incubating Ebola in their body to come into our country, and Obama hasn't even stopped it. I banned him 649 because he made some offhanded threats. But he can come in as a new person, Jared. It's not a big deal. He can become a guest instantly.
Wow.
You were in Delaware yesterday. West Africans were dumped there with ATM cards. They had to be shown how to use it. Oh my God, truth. 932 is reporting something happening in Delaware, everybody. Unbelievable. We saw it 2 years ago on our cross-country trip. We saw an entire bus full, a yellow bus full, 25 Nigerians coming into the country. And they came in through the state of Maine, and we videotaped it. And there's a YouTube video out there on my website. I know it looks like a setup from the beginning regarding Ebola. There's evidence that they're trying to weaponize, or they're trying to get some sort of a vaccine out there for people that hasn't been fully tested, and they've injected the 2 people they brought into the CDC in Tyvek suits. I'm not ignoring Jared. I actually responded to him, Fat Vinny.
I think he's ignoring me.
Oh, you're ignoring him. Okay. No, I didn't racially profile them. They were indeed Nigerians. I listened in, and I know a little bit of Nigerian, and I can barely understand what they're saying, but I can tell you that they were Nigerian, and they all had crisp $20 bills. And they had big envelopes full of these crisp $20 bills, because I asked the lady at McDonald's, I said, so what happened? What was weird about that? She said,
cool.
They paid with $20 bills. We had to run out and get 5s and 1s because we couldn't cash all their 20s, their crisp brand new 20s.
He's very attentive.
No, Nigerians are allowed in the country, and I called up and I found out that the Border Patrol was not on duty. There was a shift change right when they slipped through. So whether they had green cards that Obama gave them, because he gives out 1 million green cards to Nigerians, Somalians, Iraqis, countless people coming into our country a year. Yeah, you just don't understand. These people, they were wearing Salvation Army clothing, but they smelled really bad. So it looked to me like they had just put on some new clothes to get in when they came out of the bus, to get into the... Did you feel like you were in fear for your life? I did. I looked at people that looked like they could knife me, let alone pass Ebola onto me. I was really, really weirded out by the whole experience, and you can see the video. I looked burnt out. I felt like, wow, this is unreal. I can't believe this. And no one even answered the question, did you see a van of 25 Nigerians come into the country? And the guy said, oh, no, I just had a shift change. We never saw anything like it. No. So somebody's looking the other way. The old shift change trick. Missed it by that much. Exactly. Thank you, Charles. 99, I think it's chaos. That's causing these.
Who is 99?
99 was the girl that was with Max.
Oh.
99 was her official name. Kind of like Dabu 7 has Defense Analyst Bureau, Headquarter Bureau 007.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Dabu 7 he's got a weird Alex Jones voice. I was just watching his show. For some reason, he gets hits on his website, on his YouTube sites, but we don't. We're not allowed to get hits. Our hit counter stopped getting hits about 2010. 2010, our hit counter stopped. We haven't gotten any hits at all since then. The government is using censorship to lock down on any third party, prevent any access to the media. For many of you who are still wondering why I did the blackface video, I had no other choice. I had to parody this president so you'd understand what a liar he is, what a snake oil salesman he is, how he is just appealing to your common sense of decency. I'd go out there on a limb to do this, and I don't mind. It's really the last thing I could have done. It's the last resort thing I could have done to get noticed. At the time, I was trying to help you understand you're choosing a liar as a president. I hope a lot of you realize by now that he's a liar. I know health officials have been warning of airborne Ebola since 2012. Let's talk about the study that was done, the Canadian study that somebody found.
Oh, well, what I read was on an article about the study, and basically it said that the Canadians, they think I remind her of that person. They said the Canadians had this test they wanted to run, and they had pigs and monkeys, and they gave Ebola to the pigs, and the monkeys got sick later with Ebola.
So the monkeys somehow got cross-contaminated.
And they had them in 2 separate cages. They had a cage for pigs and a cage for monkeys, and so the pigs and monkeys weren't in the same cage. However, some people say, oh, well, it's a possibility it could have spread through the air, but really they said that realistically, there's 3 different possibilities. 1, it could have been airborne. 2, it could have been through blood or
Contaminated needles? I mean, that doesn't sound like a scientific
contaminated
study.
needles, but the fact that, or the third one they said was fomites.
Fomites within the
Which I don't know exactly what those are.
is that
But
in their feces
basically,
or something?
They
Fomites?
went and cleaned
Yeah.
the pigs' cages
Okay.
and didn't change their gloves, and then cleaned the monkeys' cages, and so that it could have been something that got onto the gloves of the workers.
Okay. So it really wasn't,
So it
that good of a
necessarily
scientific.
airborne. Well, it
We don't
was.
know.
I mean, scientifically, what they could say is that it crossed species, which not all viruses cross species. Some viruses are like for feline viruses only
Right.
stay in felines,
Okay.
and they don't
It
go to
did cross
monkeys or
species.
pigs
They
or-
did find that out. It does
Yes.
cross species. Okay. So, folks, if you have a gerbil in your house, that's
Very quickly,
Let me look at the-
question, because I'm
this is an
curious
interesting
about
thing.
this. You know, the price of gold.
I'm kidding about the
is,
gerbil.
$1,580. The dollar during these last 3 years was devalued almost 50%. When you wake up in the morning, do you care about the price of gold?
Well, I pay attention to the price of gold, but I think it reflects a lot of things. It reflects global uncertainties. I think the reason people hold gold is as a protection against what we call tail risk, really, really bad outcomes. And to the extent that the last few years have made people more worried about potential of a major crisis, then they have gold as protection.
Do you think gold is money?
No.
It's not money. Even if it has been money for 6,000 years, somebody reversed that and eliminated that economic law.
Mm.
Well, it's an asset. I mean, it's the same. Would you say treasury bills are money? I don't think they're money either, but they're
Why do central banks hold it?
most of them are reserves.
Why don't they hold diamonds?
Well, it's tradition, long-term tradition.
You know, some people still think it's money. I yield back, but
All right. Yeah, that was Ron Paul, everybody, who really did raise the huge issue about the Fed. I know, and we got a Federal Reserve that they hold gold notes from way back when they started printing up massive amounts of money and gave it to FDR to finance the growth of our economy.
gold notes, not real gold.
Not real gold at the time. They have gold notes, but it doesn't really matter. The Federal Reserve is over $20 trillion recently in debt, not to mention our now $18 trillion in debt. And the only way to get out of this nightmare of printing money is to stop printing money, but they can't seem to do that. Because the two parties have their pockets, they're coming out of your tax dollars, their pockets are deep. They can print money out of thin air and your tax dollars go to the interest. So every single time they print money out of thin air, like the $65 billion that Janet Yellen is printing and giving to mortgage-backed security owners right now, that money is actually not being backed by anything. It's completely empty. There's nothing holding it. And with the fractional reserve banking system that the Federal Reserve is, they can literally turn $10 into $1,000. They can multiply it, the ability, by putting $1 in a bank account and borrow $9 on each dollar. And this is how they do it. And the reason why our economy is facing inflation at alarming rates, especially for the cost of food, we are seeing the watering down of our money. That's basically the total picture, and it is not backed by gold. We left the gold standard in 1971 when Richard Nixon did the Nixon shock and stopped his connection to the Bretton Woods Agreement. We then became a nation dedicated to the petrodollar, and a lot of our foreign policy has mirrored that since the 1970s. With the OPEC situation, we needed an ally, so Saudi Arabia emerged as an ally in negotiating. Foreign oil investments quadrupled, and we saw our nation become reliant. 73% of our oil is coming from foreign nations, or was a few years ago, and it's starting to shift back toward America, finally. But we no longer need to be 911 to the world protecting countries like Saudi Arabia from the encroachment of other nations and possibly the decline of their oil supplies. That's their problem. They've made lots of money on us, and they've built cities and countries like Dubai. Thank you. Anyway, that's where we're at today on the background information. We don't need a Federal Reserve. We need a bank that can stimulate our economy, but we do not need a central bank. And the whole point of the Federal Reserve really was a plan by the global monetary leaders in the 1900s to meet secretly on Jekyll Island in 1910 and put together this Federal Reserve Act. And they ended up getting it passed, I think, illegally. In order to get rid of the Federal Reserve, we're going to have to buy them out for about $1 billion in order to comply with all the laws in the Federal Reserve Act. And then seize their properties. They have about $7 to $8 billion of the properties. Fire all the Federal Reserve workers from America. We'll be at 18,000 people will be unemployed. But we'll get our country back, and we'll get our banking back, and we'll get our treasury back. It's been hijacked by the likes of the Federal Reserve, Board of Governors in New York, the people that gave AIG all that bailout money, Tim Geithner. I mean, the whole thing is a corrupt, cronyist world, and this is exactly what I took on in the local election. These corrupt cronies here in Washington State, bless you, are causing our state to go bankrupt. Similarly, California is going bankrupt as well. Let me tell you what the debt was in Washington 6 years ago. $16 billion. Today, it's $90 billion.
Wow.
In the state of California, 6 years ago, the debt in California was $26 billion. Today, it's $524 billion. It's unbelievable. The amount of money and spending going on and giving it all to illegal aliens and non-U.S. citizens is exactly one of the problems facing our country. If we stopped giving food stamps and welfare to non-U.S. citizens, we'd hold on to about $100 billion a year combined. And there's a plan to give people food through help houses and food banks where they don't come into the local grocery with their food stamp money and they don't even speak a word of English. ¿Dónde es lobster? ¿Dónde es extra lean hamburger? They feed extra lean hamburger to their dogs, courtesy of you, the taxpayer. That's what people are doing. They're coming, and they have tons of money because the government actually solicits these people and gives them extra money. They go out and they have an outreach program. Yeah, you heard about that?
Yeah.
I know. Well, way back tech, I ran into those people who don't care about freedom head on. And every night they come into our show and watch our show, and they don't even understand what we're talking about. They're trying to deny me my freedom of speech. They're trying to say that this blackface video that I did 6 years ago is... I'm getting so pissed off about what they're trying to do that I'm going to make another blackface video coming up October 31st for Halloween. And they're going to try to tell me, oh, you're not allowed to dress in blackface and go on camera, even if it's Halloween. Yeah. They're going to try to tell me that, and they have no grounds to stand on, no legal grounds to stand on. I will piss them off, yeah. I want to, because they have no idea who they're fighting against. We're Americans. We're trying to protect our country. God, and we need to start actively getting involved, folks. We've got about 1 year and 3 months to build this party, and we're so far behind, it's ridiculous. Sarah and I have given 3 hours a day for the past 6 years, and we're dealing with general malaise. A lot of you just don't want to bother. You don't even care about it. But we're going to make it really easy for you, so you'll be able to go to your state of your choice that you live in and download a petition with a Google document, print it up on your printer, and have your parents or some friends of yours sign it and just send it in an envelope back to us. We're hoping to get hundreds of these things, if not thousands, so we can get on the ballot in all the states. It's going to be a pretty simple process if all of you just have a few signatures. I'm not asking you to go stand in front of Walmart and talk about a third party. I'm just talking about getting local signatures in your state. All right, so it's not that difficult, but we do have to start beginning the process. So we're going to start in Iowa, and I'm probably going to fly out there myself and start collecting signatures. I may have to. I'm looking at a van right now, and I'm thinking of putting America's Third Party on the side, and yeah, the whole deal. I'm looking at it. I've got a van in mind, so I can go out there. I can even sleep in the van if I have to. I'll probably put magnetic signs up so I can take them off in the motel so people won't want to, attack me.
True. 1,500 total, 150 from 10 different counties.
150 from 10 different counties. If you know anybody in Iowa, they can start collecting right now. And we will pay $1 per signature.
Once they're verified by the Secretary of State.
Yes. Secretary of State in Iowa has to verify them, then we'll pay you. We'll write you a check for how many signatures you get that are legitimate. Yeah, that's only in Iowa. We can't afford to do that in other states. But this is a real movement, whether people like it or not. And I know these Democrats that are trying to hold on to power mindlessly, thinking they can retain it when they don't even manage the budget right. They're scared. They're frightened. That's why they're so angry. They wouldn't be so angry at me and vilify me in every way if they weren't frightened by what I'm able to do. I'm able to arouse the minds of the people of this country and challenge the status quo. I'm able to do that. And that's scary to them. An honest man running for politics who's not viable. Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. 7560, yes, he should run for U.S. House.
Craigslist, we have a concern about you not coming in as a guest, coming in as a guest. We have guest chat on because we want people to talk locally that may never even come back to our chat room. I don't want to drive people away from our show locally because I do want to talk to all of you about your concerns about this blackface video. I don't believe it is racist. It's not. I don't believe it is. So if you think it is racist, I'm trying to convince you that I've never been a racist in my life and I've never said a racial slur in my life. I've been called a lot of names by people, including Whitey, Honky, Wonder Bread, Mayo Boy, but I've never ever said a racial slur in my life, and you're running around calling me a racist because I did what is my right to parody the president. I had to do it. I need to test freedom, Master Meatball. If we don't test freedom, we'll never know what freedom we have. And it's clearly obvious these people don't think we have freedom. If anybody's offended, it's whatever they want to call it. They're free to call me a racist if they want. Ironically, I defend their right to call me a name. I've never said names to people. I don't call people names, never have, never will. I'm not a racist. I'm dedicated to integration. But in this world, people are so limited in their understanding of what this country is founded on that I'm urging all of you Republicans to kind of convince the Democrats that they need to wake up before it's too late. They're going to lose their party, and I'm going to take it away. I'm going to create a centrist movement in America to waken up the American people and unite our country again. And if you don't like that, I'm sorry you feel that way, but that is my goal, and I'm not hiding it. I don't want to take over the nation. I want to change government from within, and I don't want it to cost us a lot of money. I want to do this in an affordable way. I want to make our country better. And I want to speak to you intellectually. I don't want to have you running off at the mouth calling me a birther or a truther or a racist. I want to talk about the issues. And I want to go there every single night on a nightly basis. And when I'm president, I will do that. We'll have a chat room in the Oval Office. No, it's not racist if someone's offended. That's ridiculous. Not at all. That's like somebody walking up and saying, your kid is really cute, and you calling them a pedophile.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you mean my kid's cute? Are you some sort of a pedophile? You're taking semantics to the nth degree and formulating your own perfect world where you limit political speech. You sound like Charles Schumer, the senator from New York who's trying to remold what political speech is. He's violating freedom of speech. Show teeth, please. Okay. There you go. I'm going to have better teeth soon. A lot of you will be saying, whoa, this guy's like, what? I'm going to have one tooth repaired. I have a little chip in it. But I might actually get a bigger smile. I'm thinking of press-on veneers for my uppers. So people will say, oh, yeah, he's got great teeth. And they'll say, yeah, that's like press-on veneers, dude. I used to have better teeth, but I bit into a sausage. No, blackface is not, in and of itself, racist. That is incorrect.
Satire.
Are you saying that all the people, the minstrels that were playing music like Al Jolson, the greatest entertainer of all times, was a racist? That's crazy. Most of the black entertainers of the 1910s and 20s and 30s in vaudeville were actually Jewish. So you're calling all those people Jewish racists? Really? Wow. Anyway, It's satire. Thank you, Bobcat. Appreciate it. Anyway, I had to parody Barack Obama in 2008 because I couldn't get any mainstream media attention. And I hope you understand that you can't call up and get Cairo to come to your front door. It took me 6 years for the lady here, Lee Stoll at Cairo, to come into my front yard right after she went to my neighbor and played the blackface video for my neighbor, expecting him to freak out, and he didn't. He said it's free speech. Then she went over to my house and she pumped me for questions, and I answered her. She said, "Do you think this will hurt you or help you?" And I said, "Well, if it took you 6 years to come to the front door to interview me about the issues, and I've been running an election campaign online for the past 6 years, I guess it's helping me." And then I thought for a second, I didn't think for a second that she would never air the video, and she never did air the video. She actually said to me, she said, "No, go ahead, this is your time to shine." So I started talking about the issues, and I saw her looking up in the trees going, tweet, 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 tweet. And the cameraman's eyes were drifting too. They didn't come there to hear about the issues. They came there to assassinate my character. And I performed very well in that video, and people will see it eventually because they'll have to pull it out of their archives eventually. They won't have to avoid it because I'm not somebody you can avoid. I get in people's faces, and I'm not afraid either because I've never been intimidated. Nobody's ever intimidated me in my life, and I've walked into fights head on, and people have hit me, and it still doesn't intimidate me. Give me some more! Hit me some more! You can't intimidate this. This is dedicated to the righteous pursuit of nonviolence. This is about truth. This is about forming a nation again. This is about uniting our country. And no, we're not married because we don't believe the government should be involved in our marriage. We don't think that the government has the right to dictate what people do between two adults. Seriously, what right does the government have to dictate a spiritual bond between two people? It's crazy. You're intimidated now, I bet you are. Well, I'm an intimidating and imposing person, but I in no way mean to be intimidating. I'm a person dedicated to nonviolence, but when you've been attacked all your life, you see what happens. Don't mess with a nice guy. I'm not exactly the kind of guy you want to just mess with. Okay? All right, thank you. We've been running mates since the beginning of this write-in period. Prior to this, I had a running mate who's a friend of mine, Marshall Tanchuk. And he was my running mate in 2008 and 2012. We never really found a suitable running mate for 2012, so Marshall did it again. But this election, Sarah is 35, actually she's 36, so she qualifies to run as the vice president. You can't find out about it because they suppressed the news, 148. It never aired. If you want to contact Lee Stoll, the reporter at Cairo 7, yeah, you could get her email is lstoll@cairotv.com if you want to write her. But she never did air my interview. This is her email address. Lee Stoll. Anyway, you can't even get 15 seconds of fame after 6 years of broadcasting online. Our media is completely controlled by money and interests. The two parties are completely taken over by powerful monetary giants that control them from afar.
This is a very rare strain of the
Holiday Inn Ebola commercial revealing the incompetence surrounding Ebola. This should be good. Let's play that for the room. And thanks everybody over at the Hangout for hanging out and watching us. Appreciate it. All of you at Battle Camp, thank you for coming in tonight. We're in the last final 30 minutes of our stretch here, talking about government waste. I know, and that was the reason in many ways, 479, that I actually did the blackface video myself. I made the decision because I wasn't getting any growth at all in 2008, and then in 2010 people were saying, David, you got to play this video again. I put it out there, and Google got a complaint about one of them and pulled one, at which I then said, well, I don't really want to offend anybody, so I pulled mine. But it's dogged me ever since, and I'm sure there's a reason why people are attacking me on it, because they don't even understand what it's about. They don't realize they've ruined our country by hiring a guy they didn't even vet. His background, you can't even investigate. Barack Obama's background is almost impervious to investigative journalists. They can't probe any deeper than they've already probed. We know enough to know that he went to Pakistan in 1981. We believe as part of the CIA operation he was involved in. I believe he was recruited in Occidental for the CIA. He went to 1981, he went to Pakistan, and he must have used Barry Soetoro as his name because he wasn't able, no American was able to get in to Pakistan at that time. And how did this story come out? Well, a very brave man in the military did a search of passports used by public officials and found that name used, Barry Soetoro. Incidentally, that man who I'm referring to, that young man, is dead. He died of, I believe it was epilepsy. So right after he revealed that information that came out about Obama's time in Pakistan in 1981, and Obama admitted it in his 2008 election. Oh, well, yes, I went to Pakistan. Oh, sure. Oh. Next question. He completely averted questions about it, but what it was a training session. When I went to Occidental orientation in 1977, I spent a good 2 or 3 hours wandering the campus, and I saw the Career Center there. And the Career Center had a sign on it in 3 feet by 4 feet. As soon as you opened the door, you couldn't miss it. Central Intelligence Agency is recruiting anyone who speaks Middle Eastern dialects, Farsi, Indonesian, etc. There's no way he would have missed that as a student at Occidental. I couldn't afford to go to Occidental. I didn't have a scholarship. I was white. Only scholarships were going out. I did have I believe, a California Cal Grant A scholarship to have some matching funds to go to Occidental, but it wasn't enough to meet my needs, and I wasn't able to go there. But I never got the kind of scholarships I would have gotten had I been like Elizabeth Warren and been a Cherokee Indian claimed to be. She has no proof she's a Cherokee Indian either. I'm a part Algonquin, ironically. I could probably prove my Algonquin background genetically. If I did a genetic test, they would show me as 1/32nd Algonquin Indian. I could have done what she did. I didn't want to defraud the American people and take money to go to college. I felt that was wrong. So I answered Caucasian in the fill-in area. I felt offended that I had to answer with my race. I asked why. It turns out I am truly a classic victim of affirmative action. Let's take a look at that Holiday Inn Ebola commercial.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look here. I'm sure people want to see that. You can't see it over at Hangout. But anyway, we're going to be talking about technology tomorrow night. And tomorrow's Technology Thursday, so if you want to come in from 6 to 9, feel free to join us. We talk about all the state-of-the-art technology. And I embrace robotics. I believe robotics will be something of the future. We're going to have to deal with it. Let's embrace it.
Ebola virus. It produces mRNA. This is a very rare strain of the Ebola virus. It produces mRNA, the deadliest of the stem loop structures. Oh, don't worry, it's not an airborne strain.
Excuse me, how long have you been studying the Ebola virus?
Well, I'm not actually a scientist, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
God.
Stay smart. Stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
That is really, yeah, that is really disturbing. Yes, I agree with Bobcat Bob. Affirmative action is racism, pure racism. I was singled out for being white. That's racial profiling. I want to end racial profiling. I truly do. I don't want blacks to be racially profiled in inner city situations. I don't want anyone Hispanic to be pulled over because they look like a person that might be illegal either. I think that's ridiculous. You know, the whole process with the illegal aliens in our country right now can be solved rather quickly simply by prosecuting anyone who hires an illegal alien. Back in the late 90s, Leona Helmsley, a very famous woman, rich, hired an illegal alien to be her maid. With all her attorneys, she couldn't fight off a 2-year jail sentence. Pretty interesting. So if we put the laws that are currently in place to work, we would gradually see less illegal aliens in our country. Sarah does speak, and I'm going to let her speak for about 10-15 minutes while I go feed the fish. Blacks can be allowed anywhere. I believe in integration, 148. I do not have any racial hostility in my heart for anyone. And I'm going to have to prove that the hard way, because obviously I put a mark on my head when I did an impersonation of Barack Obama in blackface. But I don't mind proving to you that I will meet with the Black Caucus on a monthly basis. I'll meet with Hispanics, Latinas on a monthly basis to deal with current issues facing them that we can probably troubleshoot. But what this president hasn't been, what Obama has not been, is hands-on when it comes to protecting minority rights. There's been brutality charges around the country. Police are still on the force who've committed horrible brutality. We need to stop that. We could, as a president, I can underfund municipalities with federal cutbacks if they don't fire those people who've committed brutal crimes against innocents. They need not only be fired, they should be prosecuted, too, for crimes. I don't have to apologize to anybody, Vinny. I've never done anything wrong, so forget the apology. But I would gladly meet Al Sharpton. He's an expert on the underworld and mobs for some reason. He's been called in. He could probably give me some insight into the underworld crime rings that he's been involved in. Yeah, I was really shocked to find out that Al Sharpton is a witness for underworld crime, like mob crime. He's actually a paid witness. Al Sharpton is.
A paid witness?
Yep. I know you're being sarcastic, but well, Al Sharpton, when asked, he's actually testified on behalf of certain trials involving gang members and mob members.
Oh.
So I don't know how he knows these people, but I'd be more than willing to talk to him about it. He's not gay. No, he's straight.
I didn't ask if he was gay.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
What did you ask?
I said okay.
Oh, I thought you said okay. I thought you said he's gay. Okay, now you can talk. Sorry. I was just dominating the entire...
jump to discussions of
I know. I was
orientation.
I'm not going to dominate the next 15 minutes.
The only type of orientation I like to talk about is education orientation. That's it. I mean, no. I think that is strange that he was a...
what am I going to do with all these signs? You have any idea?
Know.
I mean, these I think I can recycle. The cardboard I can recycle. The wood I can use in my garden. I think I got signage I can deal with here. Okay. Thanks.
You can save them for your next run.
I'm thinking garden steaks.
Garden steaks could be the garden fish food.
Fish food, yeah. Eat wood steaks, yeah, that'd be great.
Cardboard, do the fish eat cardboard? Someone wants to have a sign. Do you want one of the David signs? Yes, we do live together. Yes, I'm totally okay with anyone who is gay or anyone. I'm okay with all people, almost all people. May one question your political stance in particular during your youth, so one can determine your influence? Well, David's always said that he was a Democrat for 30 years. So that's his political stance when he was younger. Wow. Is 2020 seeming more appropriate at this point? It's seeming as a possibility. Yeah, that's probably true, way back tech. But yes, Conrad, thank you for voicing your concerns. I know David was quite, upset earlier because of all the things that have happened with this campaign. It's been local campaigning is very, it's very strenuous and so much effort to not even get top two. So coming in third, it's just like racing. A huge effort to not to come in third. No, 2016 is not out of the question. 1743. 2016 and 2020 are both appropriate. Oh man. But yeah, I'm glad that oh, yeah. I didn't know he yelled at you. Yeah. I'm sorry if that happened, Conrad. I must not have been in the room but no, I truly do apologize. I know that he talks to some of the other viewers and is very upset about that, but no, I will definitely speak with him because yeah, you never act like a child or you never start yelling at people. That's good. Am I really for all this? I am for people pursuing their dreams, whatever they are. I support anyone who is pursuing their dreams. So that's why I started America's Third Party, is because I really believe in people pursuing their dreams, and this is David's dream, so I am supporting his effort, and I would encourage all of you to pursue your dreams as well. No, I think small guns, someone's just voicing their concerns. You don't need to attack someone for voicing their concerns, small guns. Like I said, Clown Dude, I support everyone who pursues their dreams. What is my dream? To exist and to help people, to be a humble servant. Oh, they have 4 windows on... Why do you want 4 windows open of my show on multiple sites? I mean, or do you want to watch me on YouTube? I am on 4 different sites right now. I'm in YouTube and Battlecam and Mon, and I think I'm also on Ustream and Uvlog. Oh, you can chat to all guests. You can open all those up when they're different browser windows. Yeah, exactly. I agree. When someone just comes in suddenly and starts talking on a conversation, that's pretty crazy. In 4K monitors? No. I have enough monitors, thank you. I thought that was going to be in about 10 years that whites would become the minority. The only reason you're here is because they shut down Justin TV. Well, there's like 5 or 6 other sites out there, but this one is really good where you're at, 1743. Yeah. You've been here all night, small guns? I don't hate anyone. Well, I think that that's a definite possibility. People could have their own country, whether they be white or have their own country for any other reason. I don't have a problem with that. In about 30 years, there will be light skin and a little darker skin. There will be no races, you think, Snake Doctor? You don't think anyone will judge people based on their color, or everyone will be basically the same color? Well, yeah, David has different opinions than Rand Paul. David was a Democrat, however, I don't think he aligns with Democrats after this election. He chose to run as a Democrat because as someone who prefers Democrats in this election because he was a Democrat for 30 years and he felt that this was a highly Democratic area. But after getting third position, I think that he probably would not join the Democrats. You love Brazil? Good. Yeah. Oh, you're saying some people hate each other, Bobcat Bob? Wow. Yes, I'm a sweet, smart teacher. Thank you. That's a very good compliment, 17430. That's basically what I want to do. Yeah, it's true. Whether you're Democrat or Republican is pretty much the same. No, not right now, Mad Dog. You like to just watch Small Guns? That's good. Yeah, I guess so. 34444. Whatever. Look what. Oh. And do you wish that whites were still in control down there, United Confederate?
I'm concerned about this Ebola outbreak, first and foremost.
Where do you differ from Rand Paul?
Well, Rand Paul is more of a Tea Party enthusiast. I have a more socially liberal approach. I also am very concerned about privacy. I don't think he really cares. I think he sides more with corporations, especially regarding drones, commercial drones. I don't support commercial drones per se. I made a wonderful fusion medley between sausage and chicken breast and rotelli and carrots, and I'm hungry. And I put some Romano cheese on it. I put fresh garlic from my garden in there too.
I bet that's good. I had mine earlier. It was good.
Right.
What kind of commercial drones? I wonder about commercial drones. It
has to be safeguards. We shouldn't allow us. We did take Sarah out to eat the other day. I take her out twice a week to eat. We went out last night.
Yeah.
Right.
They will be the new lawnmowers and deliverers, yeah.
I think Rand Paul did take money from AIPAC. Good point. I don't want to take any money from AIPAC. I refuse to take any funding from that political action committee. As a principle, I don't really want to see this payback to Israel. Not after the kind of atrocious human rights records they have now. Yep. Go for some fried gizzard and livers. Oh, that's what we had yesterday. I took Sarah out to
I had some livers, yeah.
to a buffet and had some livers. Yeah, that was real good, that buffet. Yep.
Well, that's pretty cool. A street cleaning drone prototype out in Malaysia. Wow, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have, the lawn mower. There was a lawnmower drone that we played. I think robot, I guess. I guess drones, most people think of drones as now as UAVs, as unmanned aerial vehicles, rather than, robots on the ground.
I like the surveillance.
Robots and things, I guess that would be like a drone.
I'm talking about unmanned aerial vehicles that do surveillance. I'm not concerned about any kind of shipments from Amazon Prime. I really don't have a problem with Amazon delivering with a drone. But using a drone for surveillance, I have a problem with. Unless it's for military purposes and defense of our country. You're scared of the Cyber Drone Systems Model 101? Oh, wow. Okay. Well, you're in luck. Tomorrow night is our big technology night. We can show you all the cool technology that's available, and we'll be playing you videos into the evening of great new things like the new Google car. I'll be profiling a lawnmower that literally mows itself with a solar power pack and charges itself as it goes. I have researched Skynet, and I'm concerned that if we don't democratize our nation and get our country separated from this totalitarian corporate structure that controls our politics, we will be very prone to a Skynet-type Terminator scenario. Seriously. So yeah, we really are concerned. 12 gauge with no choke.
Okay, you made your point, 1809, or lack of thereof. You've made no point.
We got an article that came in earlier about a $619 billion missing amount. Is this true?
Yeah. Well, it's basically saying that USAspending.gov does not report accurately what the government spends money on.
Really?
If you want to see what the government spends money on, it would probably be better to go to a place like we do, which is a monthly treasury statement.
Well, we haven't gone there tonight.
That's true.
But we normally go there on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I know what you mean, that lawnmower video. They say it can go over rough terrain and it's like all a flat surface.
So we should be worried about the 619 billion missing, for sure. You know, I've talked about great ways of saving money. We mentioned $100 billion savings earlier by eliminating funding for non-U.S. citizens. Thanks, 174. That's very kind of you to say that. I feel much more informed after I've done a show for the past 6 years. I never would have had access to all this hard data and information. We're spending $7 million a day to Israel. Obama just approved a $225 million acquisition for a rocket defense system for Israel just yesterday. He's asking for $500 million to go to rebel troops in Syria. Can you imagine what $500 million would do for cities like Detroit right now? I mean, we're so off base with what this president is doing, it's unbelievable. Detroit could really use some serious help right now, and what is he doing? He's giving it to rebel troops to start a war in Syria. It's crazy. Unreal. By the way, we have a Saturday show. It's an anti-war rally. If you haven't been to it, check it out, 6 to 9. We do a show 6 days a week, 3 hours a day. I know.
I go crazy. But whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing that we do all that. I want to thank everybody for coming in. I know we have 5 more minutes. So.
Well, I'm just finishing up here.
I'm glad David's finishing up.
If you want to talk about anything else, feel free.
I can check out the news. Liberia is finally declaring a state of emergency.
Thank you, Jerka fans. Liberia has declared a state of emergency, folks, regarding Ebola. No signs of it slowing down. It's growing. I would take immediate action right now as president and limit any shipments of humans into this country from Africa. Anyone traveling from Africa with a passport originating in Africa would be told to go back. It's the only way to deal with this issue right now. We're really in danger. It does look like some sort of an attempt to impose a vaccination on the American people. It's a setup, Jerka fan. I agree. It looks like they're trying to impose another vaccination like the swine flu on the American people. And by the way, most people didn't get the swine flu vaccination.
No.
Most people, they have $24 billion investment that didn't go forward. So they're trying to do another scare tactic to get people to get infected. I don't even take vaccinations against flus because they oftentimes carry the flu virus in it. Some people get sick. I know. Tell me about it. Total scum, Bobcat Bob. Obama has done the unthinkable. Allowed 52,000 kids who are contagious to come into the country and get placed in various cities. to try to push the signing of his immigration bill, putting us in danger, and now he's allowing Ebola patients to come into this country through the CDC in Tyvek slippers. It's ridiculous.
An earthquake in Japan, a remote area of Japan, killed 600 people.
I know, Fat Vinny.
Wow.
They're all over the world, I know. They're other than Mexicans. Yeah, 6,000 people, or 600 people have died from an earthquake? What?
Yeah, did I say Japan? China.
China, there was an earthquake near 600 people.
In a remote area of China, 600 people died.
That's horrible.
And they actually are telling volunteers to stay away, probably because of mudslides or other things.
I want to touch briefly on the economy.
Okay.
And in order to do so, I have to open this up.
Yeah, of course.
Asian stock slips, bonds firm on Ukraine tensions. Okay. Let's take a look at the stock market. The Dow is up 13. It was dropped a significant amount. It's down about almost 600 points from where it was at about a week and a half ago. 16,443 is the current Dow. All right, well, this has been a very informative evening, I must say.
Thank you all for coming in.
Obama has been a treasonous president, and we need to get real tough on all the Democrats that have got him into power, because they seem to think that they didn't do anything wrong. They're saying, well, why are you blaming Obama? Why do you blame the Congress? Well, we are blaming Congress. We're blaming the two-party system, and we're asking you to get out of your party. But you can't seem to do that. All these people are tied to their party like it was giving them something. They're not getting low-cost educations. They're getting illegals coming in the border, getting free money for school at the DREAM Act in California. We're not getting accountability from government. We're getting public unions sucking our tax dollars, getting stronger and stronger, and getting more money for their pension plans. We're not going anywhere with that. We need to get our fiscal house in order and do it soon before it all starts slipping out of control. It already is out of control, like Rodney said tonight on the phone. It's almost beyond control. It's almost beyond hope. All right, we are taking calls from Rodney, so when he calls back another night, we'll talk to him. I don't want any bridges here. I want people to start thinking as common supporters of a third party as opposed to, you know, being angry at each other. I want to kind of change our tactic here.
All right, good night, everybody.
Good point, Guest 132. Yeah, it is a scare tactic. Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming in. We're going to be playing some videos if you want to sit and chat about various subjects, if you feel like talking. We've got a pretty intelligent group of people here, I can see that. Sometimes we just have trolls that come into the room and kind of drag the show down, but you guys have been great. Thank you. Why don't I play more of Steve Bridges' Obama speeches? Let's start with that one he just did, and you guys get to see that. And since he's dead, I mean, we might as well show some homage to his great talent. He was an excellent impersonation artist.
We'll make it a Steve Bridges night. All right.
Cool. Thank you. Good night.
So if you would, I want you guys to welcome to our stage Steve Bridges as president.
Okay, good night.